Sports right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, San Diego, welcome to it. Finally, a Friday. Kicking off another great sports weekend. Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports talk station. 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello. Tony Gwynn Jr. finishing up his vacation today. He'll be back with us next week. And Matt Skraby. The man who on his very popular weeknight radio show, the Skraby Chronicles.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest. I think everybody wants to wrap up their day by hearing your daily gripe.
Oh.
So guess what? I'm starting our day with a daily gripe.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got to play the open then.
Oh, is there an open?
Oh,
for it?
there's definitely open. It
Oh, I
says
didn't
my
know.
name in it, but we're just
give it
going to
to me.
assume it's Chris for now.
Yeah, give it to me. Let me have a little.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
All right, here we go. If your transaction is going to take longer than 90 seconds, do not get in front of me in line at 7-Eleven. I have beyond had it with Yo-Ho. I'm buying Mr. Yo-Ho.
Yo-ho.
Mr. Yo-Ho or Yo-Hoo or Yahoo. Whatever he is.
Yo-ho.
He's buying lottery tickets for the entire city of San Diego.
Even start.
Please get out of my line. I've already spoken in the past about people who do their Christmas shopping at 7-Eleven.
I don't know that anyone does that, but
I know. But you know what I mean? Somebody that look, if you're going to 7-Eleven, this is a 90-second or less transaction.
Yes.
And that's really maximum. It should be less than that. But when you are, well, let me see. I think I'll take the number 17. And 12. No, this guy.
I know, Chris.
This guy bought like 712 lottery tickets, and before he bought them, he had to cash in the $8 that he won last week.
This is right up my alley.
Stop it.
I
Stop
have
it.
actually
Go elsewhere.
I've had a daily gripe about this.
I'm sure you have. 7-Eleven is for quick transactions. And I don't even mind, because ours, the one that's near us, and you know this one because you go there sometimes
all
too.
the time.
Yeah. Sometimes they have a pretty long line. Evidently, this is a popular 7-Eleven location.
Yes, it is.
I don't mind the long line. People got to get their stuff. I get it. But 90 seconds is your maximum, and it should be less than that. And don't be waiting for them to tell you how much it costs and then open your purse and then start rooting around through your change to try to get the exact amount.
Did you listen to my daily gripe last night?
I don't have time for this, people. You talk about things that harden arteries. I don't get upset at the real stuff that most people do. But when I'm standing in line behind the guy with the lottery tickets, arteries are hardening. It's great.
Did you listen to my daily gripe last night?
I knew. Was this your exact one last night?
No, it wasn't the lottery ticket.
I'm sure you've had a similar complaint because you and I are similar on stuff like this.
My last night one was when I'm behind people in line that aren't ready to pay when they get up to the front.
I mean,
I did the whole thing too. Like, oh, let me grab my wallet. Oh no, I can't find my card. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
We
in the
know
line
you have to
beforehand?
pay.
What are you doing before? There's a comic out there, and he's long since passed away. He's a very funny comedian, and his stuff pops up on my
what's his name?
Facebook feed. He's a heavyset guy.
Oh, you've told me about him.
Yes, he's really funny, and his name is escaping me right now. But he does a whole bit on the people that go to Kentucky Fried Chicken and can't decide what they want to order. And as he says, they have chicken. Like, that's it. They have chicken. Well, what are you even thinking about?
Yeah, it's true.
And his bottom line to that is, get out of line. Get out of my line. That's kind of how I feel when I'm waiting for these people. And they just don't know anyone's behind them either, right?
No, they don't care.
They could care less that anyone's behind them. So
the person that bothers me
this.
even more is I'd rather them not care that I'm behind them. When they turn, they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like, no, you're not sorry because you're actually taking up all the time right now. So, yeah, my gripe was because the other day I was in Vaughn's behind someone, and first off, they had way too many items for the fast lane, and secondly, they just stood there and didn't even pull out their wallet until they were like, oh, how are you going to pay? And then it took them a full minute to get their card out.
The ladies that go through the change, because they've got to pay 68 cents exactly.
John Panette?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
John Panette, and he is very funny.
That's from Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse, and I just looked him up myself. John Panette is very funny. He passed away about 10 years ago at the age of 50.
Wow.
But unfortunately, he wasn't very healthy looking, but he was hilarious. And if you've never seen John Panette, I recommend you check out a little of that. Pineette. He does really funny stuff. But that aside, that's kind of how my afternoon started. This after a fairly difficult evening last night on the basketball court.
Oh no.
And
reffing?
Yeah, I was reffing last night. And first of all, I love all you high school kids out there. I love all the parents who come to support you. I hate senior night.
Oh.
It takes about 45 minutes for every kid to be introduced, give a speech, get flowers from their mom.
But that's what they're
wave to the crowd.
One time a year.
I know. But we don't have, as referees, we don't get one senior night. We get like 5 of them. So anyway, last night was senior night at the game I was at, so we didn't start for 45 minutes late. So I was already in a bit of a mood.
That is annoying.
It's all right. No, honestly, I'm being a little harsh on that because I do get it. It's senior night. It's a big deal. But the game gets underway last night, and I've had a little soreness in my groin. Just a little, nothing too bad, at least until the game started last night. And the first time I turned to run down the court, I was like, uh-oh.
What?
I am in big
You pulled Jimmy
trouble.
Butler?
I almost couldn't. What do you mean?
You soiled yourself?
No.
You
Where
said,
are you
uh-oh?
coming up with that? Uh-oh, because the groin locked up.
Oh.
The groin.
Oh, okay.
The muscle, Skraby. God, your mind is really trashy.
Well, it happened yesterday.
Your mind is trashy.
When you say, uh-oh, I'm not thinking groin. I'm thinking stomach issue.
I let off the story by saying my groin has been sore.
Oh,
you should have picked that up.
I missed that.
Anyway, I thought I am not going to make it through this game. But somehow it loosened up finally. But I have another game tonight, and I'm sure it's another senior night because this is the last night of the high school regular season. So I'll have to sit through a senior night, and then I'll have to try to run, and hope the groin responds. And I've been stretching it like crazy. But and somebody out there who knows this stuff better than I do, it's deeper in there than my stretch is getting to.
Well, some people
does that make any sense?
Yes, my dad tore his Achilles way back when, and he said it was really tight, and he kept stretching it, and they said that was bad because it helped tear.
Well, when you turn your Achilles, you can't even walk.
No,
so he didn't tear his Achilles.
No, he had been slowly tearing it by stretching more.
All right,
it wasn't like it just happened, but sometimes stretching is a bad thing. I think you need to go to the doctor.
I'm not going to any doctor.
I knew it.
I'm gonna just.
I knew it.
I'm gonna play through.
Chris is
right through.
Chris is right there in that generation that you could have your leg blown off and you're going to work.
If I got a game, yeah, I got to do the game.
You're gonna go ref and get a little cart with your leg bleeding all over the floor.
Let me tell you something. These parents that are going to be sitting there for senior night tonight, they don't know it, but they need me because there's no game without us.
That is true.
There is no game without us. All right. So anyway, I'll probably be stretching throughout the show today, but I don't. It's weird. I'm doing all of these stretches that I know for the groin area, and I'm not touching the actual injury.
I can confirm.
So
Chris,
this is concerning me a little because when I start to run tonight, it's going to hurt again, and I don't have a choice.
I saw Chris do some stretching earlier, and I was impressed by the flexibility.
I have pretty good flexibility, but I can't quite get to this. Anyway, that's my life now.
The groin's a bad area.
It's a tough area.
Yeah, that's not good.
Davis Thompson is on the lead at the Genesis, another guy that I don't know a whole lot about. He's 7 under par, But the two guys right behind him, we know a little about, Skrabe.
Yes.
Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy.
Rory's playing some good golf right now.
Rory's -5 today alone.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Yeah. It's Thompson's at -7, Scheffler and McIlroy -5. So there's a two-shot thing, but those two guys are chasing. McIlroy's 5 under through 10 holes today.
Wow.
Can you imagine just doing that for one moment in your life?
No, the most
10 holes and you're 5 under.
No.
He had to be so disappointed at those 5 pars.
Yeah, right.
It really break his heart.
The only time I've ever been under par, like the most holes, probably like 5. I've had a birdie and then I parred 4, and that was the best I've ever done.
Yeah, I mean, that's an exciting time. But 5 out of 10, pretty good for McIlroy today. We'll keep you up to date on the Genesis. Obviously, the weather's cleared up a little bit. The scores are quite a bit better today as you look up and down the line. And you really should. This weekend is not, I started by saying this is a great sports weekend. It's really not. This is the first sports weekend since August that there's no football. Right? I mean, except, well, I guess the week before the Super Bowl. But you know what I mean?
Yes.
Football is now completely done. Baseball has not yet completely started.
Mm-hmm.
So this weekend is kind of in the middle. Sorry, NBA All-Star Game, but you're not interesting me very much.
Even with the new format?
No, what do I care?
You said you liked the new format.
I like trying to do something. No, I said I like trying to do something. What I wanted to do is go back to East versus West, straight up, play it out, and actually give an effort. I think this is
that's never going to happen.
And
again.
This is kind of a different version of that. It doesn't do a lot for me. I'm not going to watch the NBA All-Star Game. So this weekend would be a great weekend to go out to Torrey Pines and catch some amazing golf. And when you've got Scheffler and McIlroy right there on the lead or close to it, that's a hell of a weekend for golf fans.
I'm looking at, well, I mean, this is one of the best fields of the year. I'm looking through. You got Matt Fitzpatrick, U.S. Open winner there. Adam Scott is in the top 12.
Wyndham Clark won one of those.
Clark won a U.S. Open. Tommy Fleetwood always up there.
No, there's a good it's
hey,
a good
J.J.
rundown.
Spawn, San Diego State guy. He
Attaboy.
actually shot 76 yesterday, but he's 3 under today. So that's
Attaboy,
good,
JJ.
good turnaround.
Attaboy, JJ.
Yeah.
No, you got some big names out there at the Genesis, so go catch a little golf. I think it'd be a good way to spend your Saturday or Sunday.
It tells me how good these guys are because yesterday it was raining, it was cold, it was damp. Some of these guys got around the course in like 1 or 2, 3 under par. Today they're just scoring, which tells you how good they are and how much the conditions affected them yesterday.
No question about it. Something I just said no more than 2 minutes ago. All right, we are underway.
Really?
Yeah,
I was listening.
I wish you'd listen to the show.
I was listening.
You are part of the show. You should hear some
I really
of it.
thought I was listening.
Gwynn and Chris is underway for a Friday. The latest from Padres spring training. Both Connor Joe and Jason Heyward have spoken upon their arrival. Newcomers. We'll hear from them when we return. Bitcoin is still a bit tight. And I have a feeling it's not going to change, so I'll stop updating you on that.
Please.
2:19 is the time. Chris Ello, Matt, Skraby, Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan. Tony Gwynn Jr., from what I understand, he's off today, but he's probably in line somewhere at 7-Eleven buying lottery tickets.
Are you kidding me? Tony would never go
He
into
would
7-Eleven.
never do that.
Remember when you saw
to,
him?
Don't say he'd never go to 7-Eleven. I ran into him a couple of weeks ago. What?
Tony's the guy who orders delivery from 7-Eleven.
Yeah, he doesn't go into a 7-Eleven. All right, while we were away, Scotty Scheffler eagled his 15th hole today,
Yes.
which is number 6.
Yeah.
Chipped in from the sand, holed out from the bunker. Is that a better way to describe
hold
it?
out from the bunker, yes.
Yeah. So he has gone from 5 under to 7 under just like that, and he's now tied for the lead.
No, he's not. Davis Thompson just birdied, and now he's 8 under.
Oh,
3 birdies
Davis
in a
Thompson
row.
keeping the heat on. All right, good one going
loving
at
this
the
tournament.
good one going at the Genesis. Of course, Padres spring training day 2 or 3?
3.
Yeah, 2 was the pitchers catchers report. Position players have not had to report yet,
But they are reporting.
but some of them are, including 2 of the new guys, Connor Joe, Jason Heyward, both showing up in Peoria today. Little did they know that by showing up to Padres spring training camp, they were going to be immediately attacked by one Sam Levitt.
Oh, yeah. He was circling.
He was circling, and he saw Connor Joe, and that was, I don't know if it was bad news for Connor Joe, but he was going to be occupied for a time.
Yes.
Sammy was not going to let him get away.
No.
But Sam asked him about, look, Connor Joe's Poway, San Diego, USD.
Is he a Poway High guy?
Yes, he's Poway High. He's USD. He's so totally local. And it was really interesting to hear him talk about how much he loved the Padres growing up. This is a great answer.
Yeah, I grew up in Poway, and as you know, a lot of Padres live in Poway. I grew up knowing that Tony Gwynn lived down the street from me. Bruce Bochy lived down the street. As I was playing Little League, I got to cross paths and rub shoulders with guys like Phil Nevin, Jose Vizcaino, David Justice. So Padres were around my community, and I got to see them and realize this is possible. So that's really cool. I remember the little World Series, watching that team and falling in love with those guys. And then as I got older, watching the teams play at Petco. But little things like my dad bidding at auctions to get a behind-the-scenes tour with Bruce Bochy at Qualcomm Stadium, where he flipped to me in the batting cage and got to go in the dugout. So stuff like that, and we did that at Petco too. So I mean, I'm just growing up watching the Padres and wanting to see them win.
I always wanted to know who wins those auction items at those events.
Connor Joe's parents, apparently.
Apparently, Mr. Joe
Yes.
is the winner of those. I've bid on a few things, but I've
you
never.
have?
Well, I throw my name on there, but I've never won one.
Just to pump up the bid?
Pump up the bid a little bit. Yeah, I've never won. I've never had at the end they go, Chris Ello, you won that.
I've told you the story where I pumped up
Did you
the bid.
do it one time and then you got it?
And then a group of us got a trip to Hawaii that we did not want.
Yeah.
But we were told by our boss at the time, please pump up this thing, and then we win it.
You won it, yeah. No,
But,
Connor
yeah.
Joe's dad, Connor Joe's dad obviously wasn't there.
Do you think,
So-
do you think that, I know you're not going to pay a guy extra money because he's a fan of the Padres are his childhood team, but how much do you think that helps Connor Joe motivate himself for this year?
I think he's going to like it. I mean, sure, he should. I think he's not going to. I don't think it's going to be anything a whole lot different, man. The guy played, for the Rockies, the Giants, the Pirates. He's going to play the same, and, he's got to just focus on his job. The fact that he's a Padre is cool, obviously.
Yeah.
But even he said that when he went into free agency, the Padres was not the team he was focused on. He was focused on finding the best deal and the best situation. And it just so happened that it was the Padres. That's what he said. So I'm going to take him at his word.
Me too.
But, as I said before, Connor Joe against left-handed pitching is a solid bat. He's going to hit against lefties probably 270, 280. Probably give you 10, 11 home runs from that side of the plate. Now, his overall average won't be that high, because he'll also get some at-bats against right-hander, and he's not as good against righties. But he can play first base, which gives a rise, at least some rest. This is a good pickup, and I like it all the way.
Me too.
Attention to the next guy we're going to hear from.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have as much faith in you.
Oh, I hate putting it that way. But
We don't. But Jason Heyward is going to have to show us.
Yeah.
And I hope he does. I hope he shuts us all up, and I hope the people write in 2 months and say, Chris, remember when you said Jason Heyward? Nah. And I guarantee you'll remember I said this.
But you wouldn't, but they don't remember anything else.
They never remember when you're right.
Yeah.
So I hope that, I hope I'm wrong. And I hope that you're calling in and, texting me and everything. But Jason Heyward, career, could use a reboot. And hopefully this is where he gets it. With the San Diego Padres, he was asked why this was the right opportunity for him.
Things just lined up. It took the whole offseason almost, but it's nice to find a spot, good baseball people, experience in the postseason, the team looking to get to the postseason every year and do their best to keep pushing forward.
What do you make of this organization and kind of the way you'll fit and kind of like in terms of that, in terms of pushing it further into the postseason?
Just bring what I bring, be myself in the clubhouse, be myself on and off the field, go play wherever I'm needed in the outfield, and do what I can to help others around me get better, and let some of them rub off on me as well. You got a lot of guys that have hit in big spots in their careers and had a lot of fun playing, of course, regular season baseball, and I think right now the funnest division to pay attention to as a fan, and let's see what we can do to take that into the postseason.
How was your experience in left field last year?
It was fun. It was fun. Ironically, initially in LA when I started getting reps out there, I'm like, this looks way different, which it still does. But as I got into Houston, it just started to feel more natural.
Jason Heyward, throughout his career, has played mostly right field, which is why Dennis Lynn asked him that question. As a matter of fact, if you look at Jason Heyward's entire career, he did not play left field at all until last year. So he's always been right field, some center field. But left field last year with the Astros, not with the Dodgers, with the Astros.
Interesting.
So, yeah, he hasn't had a lot of time. Well, I take it back. He played a little left field for the Dodgers in 2023.
Okay.
So you're talking about a guy that has a 15-year career, and a very small part of 2 seasons he's been in left field. Now, major league players can make the adjustment. But, as he was just alluding to, it's a different look. There's no question. You've been standing in right field your whole career. Every time a right-handed batter comes up, you have an open look into their batting stance. Now, when a right-handed hitter...
Interesting. Never thought about it like
that.
that.
Oh, yeah. When you have a right-handed hitter come up now, you don't see the ball till it's actually coming out.
You're looking at their back.
You're looking at their back. And the opposite for left-handers, but I'm just saying there's, it's a difference. There's no, it's a difference. So, anyway, look, Jason Heyward is a pro's pro, and I'm not saying that he's not. He's got 5 gold gloves. I think he'll be able to handle that switch. He's had some fantastic years as a major leaguer.
I mean, his job, basically...
The reason I'm concerned about it is he hasn't really had one of those years recently.
Yes, but what his job is basically is to play good defense. I mean, they're not bringing him in for his bat.
Well, yeah, you have to have some bat.
You do.
Sorry, your left field.
But your priority, I guess, would be defense.
Left field has to provide bat. You just do it in this world of Major League Baseball. You can't have a left fielder who's not, and he's not had more than 40 RBIs since 2019. So that's 6 years. That's all. That's my concern. It's my concern. But I think they're going to hopefully get stuff out of Jason Heyward enough to make that work. All right, there's those guys.
Those guys.
There's those guys. By the way, you heard a little snippet from our guest in that last clip, Mr. AJ Cassavell. He's down there at Spring Training. I wonder what he thinks about Jason Heyward. It'd be interesting. We'll ask him that and other things when we come back on Gwynn and Chris. Finally, it's a Friday show. Chris Hello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Idol, Matt Skraby. Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan. I just cheered the television because I can. Rory McIlroy just missed a 2-footer for par.
The heck you got against Rory?
I'm not a fan. Never been a
Why?
fan.
He's just one of the best players
It's
in
a
the world.
fair question as to why I'm not a fan of Rory's, but there's something about this guy.
Is it because he's Irish?
All right, that's not fair.
Why?
I like Irish people.
Okay. Is it because
He just seems like a bit of a whiner complainer.
he's
to me.
not?
He
He's
is.
trying to save the game of golf, Chris.
Okay. He's not my guy.
I know.
If he's coming down the stretch, Scheffler, McIlroy, I'm all Scheffler.
That's fine. I can get behind that. Like, I'm going to probably cheer for Rory, even though he's
if they're coming
Irish.
down the stretch and it's Jake Knapp against McIlroy,
Yeah.
going Jake Knapp. I don't know who he is, but he's on the leaderboard today.
That is your right as a golf fan,
Thank
Chris.
you.
I don't
Yeah,
have
I
any
don't
problems
root
with
for
it,
Rory.
but I would rather go with the guy who's probably going to win. and
There's
not
people
Knapp.
that I always root for, and there's people that I don't root for. Rory is in the latter category.
Who else is in the latter category?
Sergio Garcia comes to mind. Not a whole lot.
VJ?
No, I like VJ was okay. I like most golfers. I really truly do. I'm so impressed with what they can do. How else to react to what these guys, their skill is incredible.
I think watching them in person just makes you appreciate it even more.
And that's right. You're 100% right. And that's why I said earlier, if you've not been out to see these guys actually in person, and I say the same thing every time, you can watch the threesome that has Jake Knapp,
Poor Jake Knapp.
Seamus Power, and Stefan Jaeger, and you will be blown away with how good they are.
Yeah, they'll
Like,
hit,
you don't know
yeah.
any of those guys, but you'll be like, wow.
If
Because I think a lot of people go to the tournament and think, I got to see Scheffler, I got to see McIlroy because they're the only guy. No. These guys are all worth watching.
But
they're all
they
that
definitely
good.
are. I want to go see Rory because 2 years ago when he played at the Farmers, I went specifically to see him since I've been to so many golf tournaments. But I wanted to see how a 5'8" guy who weighs 160 pounds can hit the ball 335 yards on average.
Yeah, that does defy explanation.
It's ridiculous. But
It really
every
does.
player has their own sort of like
Xander
amazingness.
Schauffele's no taller than 5'8" either. And
Is
he
he?
hits the
I-
ball 340.
Yeah, he does.
Schauffele's a little guy. I mean, comparatively.
Scheffler, I think, is pretty
Scheffler's
tall.
a little taller, yeah. I'd have to look it all up, but
Tony's
I don't really
guy.
feel like doing
Tony's
that.
guy.
Yeah, look, if you're Tony, you got to be pretty excited by that. You got to play one round with a pro in your life. And the day he went to play, it was like, Tony, who's the pro? I don't know, Schauffler? He didn't know who he was. Nobody really
And
knew
I was like,
who he
oh, I
was.
like Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, and now Scotty Scheffler's the man.
And Tony claims him.
Tony thinks he had everything to do with it.
Scotty Scheffler is Tony's Kevin O'Connell to me.
And the funny thing is, Scotty Scheffler probably doesn't know Tony Gwynn Jr. from...
That's not true.
Nah, he does. Tony Gwynn Jr. is a famous guy.
Yep.
This hour in 97.3 The Fan brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers having difficulty hiring these days. So Robert Half is here to help. The recruiting professionals there will utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. All right, AJ Cassavell going to be joining us momentarily from Peoria spring training. Get a report from him, the old MLB.com writer. And he's been at it for a while now. I mean, and that's good. AJ Cassavell, hi AJ. I was just wondering, bringing you on here, what year this is for you on the Padre beat for MLB.com.
This is my 10th season.
Wow.
Get out!
Yeah.
That's a big one.
10th season.
That's awesome.
I mean, I was gonna. If you would have said 4 or 5, I would have been, hey, that's impressive. I did not know 10.
I knew it was at least 6 or
Did
7,
you?
but not 10. 10's impressive.
10's good. Good
Congrats.
job.
Yeah, it took me
AJ.
a second to kind of figure that out because I started in 2016. But if you count the total number of seasons, this will actually be my 10th season.
That is that's
fantastic.
That's good work, AJ
Yes, that
Cassavell.
is.
Well done, sir.
And he stuck through the beginning part to get to this part where it's actually,
Is it
a
much,
competitive
Yeah, that's a
team.
good question in a lot of ways. Is it a lot more fun with a winning organization like for you personally, or just anybody in your position?
There's certainly more things to write about, and more people are reading me. So yes, that makes it significantly more fun. I mean, it's also, it's like it got old, you know. Like
Yeah.
there were storylines and there were interesting things going on with the 2017 Padres, but like at some point in the middle of August, like how many times can you write about Jabari Blash, you know, or Ryan Schimpf or whoever? So it's nice to have pretty much too many storylines. It feels like I miss things. Like I'm to spring training and I have a list of things and I don't hit on every single one of them because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I remember years and years ago, the biggest news story of the season was Will Myers getting caught on Twitch talking about Andy Green. So things have definitely changed over the years, AJ.
Yes. AJ
Yeah,
Cassavell.
and that was a different time.
It was.
Yeah. You started in the Andy Green era and through Jace Tingler and Bob and now Mike Schilt. All right, AJ, we were just talking Jason Heyward because he's there in camp now. And I don't mean to be blunt, but I'm not the world's big personally. It's me. He's got to show me. A little concerned about the last 4 or 5 years. He has not been the Jason Heyward he once was. What do you think makes the Padres believe they can get him to return more to the form that we had originally come to expect from Jason Heyward?
I think it's completely fair to be skeptical, but I also think like it was fair to be skeptical last year of Jurickson Profar. Like AJ Preller said yesterday that this team is going to need some surprises from some of these guys that are either non-roster guys or, I mean, one of the things that was appealing to the Padres is that essentially Jason Heyward came on a relatively cheap prove-it deal. And so you pair him with Connor Joe, you can get him the at-bats that I think would bode well in a platoon. You give him at-bats pretty much exclusively against right-handed pitching. And he's still a pretty good defender, and maybe you find something there. But there are other options too. I don't think the Padres are entering the season saying no matter what, Jason Heyward's going to be our left fielder. He's just essentially the starting left fielder heading into the season. And I mean, he did some decent things down the stretch last season with Houston. So if he can kind of rekindle that, he's a veteran and clearly knows how to go about it. If he's that guy and you kind of platoon him with Connor Joe and maybe one or two of these other NRI guys step up or AJ Preller adds another bat, I think that's kind of where their mindset is.
We're talking to AJ Cassavell at MLB.com, and I like that. NRI guys. It took me a second, but that's smart. I'm going to start saying NRI guys. Non-roster invitee
Thank
guys
you, Skraby.
is
I
what
had
it
no
was.
idea what he was talking about, so I appreciate
you know,
helping
Chris,
me.
you got to pay attention to the lingo like I do over here.
Doing my best.
Now, the other night, Nick Pivetta was signed by the Padres. It was broken live here on the Skraby Show on 97.3 The Fan. And I immediately was stunned that they signed anyone for any sort of money, just because we didn't expect that to happen. How shocked were you when you saw that Nick Pivetta was signed to a 4-year, $55 million deal?
Yeah, pretty surprised, and surprised when you see those numbers. I think less surprised when you see the structure of the contract because it is somewhat in line with what the Padres have been doing for the rest of the offseason in terms of giving contracts out to guys like Michael King and the deal he got, which was kind of low money this year with a buyout for a mutual option and a signing bonus. Like this Nick Pivetta deal is similar in that he's going to be owed a decent chunk of change in the next 3 years, but less so this year. And the Padres got a pitcher that has some pretty good upside. Like he pitched in a definitive hitter's park last season, and he put up some pretty good strikeout, walk, like fielding independent numbers. And if you kind of take out the ballpark factor and like there's clearly something to be harnessed there. I mean, I don't want to, like, the comparison's not too straightforward with Joe Musgrove, but when Joe Musgrove came from Pittsburgh, it was like, this guy's probably better than what his numbers look like in Pittsburgh, and then sure enough, he came here and he was a lot better than what his numbers were with the Pirates. Pavetta's obviously further along in his career, and, like, probably was the best remaining free agent starter on the market. So, yeah, it did come as some surprise, but it didn't come as a surprise that the Padres would, if they were going to go out and spend somewhere, would target starting pitching because I think that was the clear biggest area of need.
Yeah, AJ, I think you hit it right. I mean, analytically, people love Nick Pivetta. And, a lot of times that does tend to matter, when you get into a different environment and especially a pitcher's ballpark. So I think a lot of people are excited by that. It still seems, though, that they need to do at least one more, maybe two more moves, and I'm not trying to be greedy, but we don't really have an established starter at DH as of right now. The fifth spot in the rotation, hopefully Waldron grabs it, but that's kind of up for grabs. And maybe, as you said, you might even add to the Heyward, Connor, Joe. If you were going to do it, the name that keeps throwing around lately is Suarez. Does that make any sense to you personally, and do you think it makes any sense at all to the Padres and, their people?
I think the reason it makes the most sense in terms of some sort of trade would be, like, you look at the positions of strength on the roster, the positions that the Padres can afford to lose. Robert Suarez is really good. He was an excellent closer last year. He's been excellent in relief in the past. If you look at the guys that have been mentioned as potential trade candidates and what the Padres would be losing if they lost that guy and whether they could replace it, there's probably no bigger area of strength in terms of depth and high-end talent than the bullpen. And so you can look at this bullpen and say, well, right now there's 7 definitive guys who are in that bullpen, and then there's guys like Alec Jacobs, Sean Reynolds, Ron Marinaccio, who are competing for like the last spot, and you've got guys like back-end guys like Jason Adam, Jeremiah Estrada, Adrian Morejon. Like if you were to lose a guy who has been rumored in trades, and we know who's been mentioned, Dylan Cease, Michael King, Luis Ariz, like those kind of names, the guy you could afford to lose and still be okay roster-wise is probably Robert Suarez. Now, you're still losing a lot because he's still a really good pitcher. He still projects to be one of the better closers in the National League. But I think that's why, if you're looking for like why that name is being mentioned the most now, like the Padres were to lose one of their front-end starting pitchers right now, even after adding Nick Pivetta, the rotation has all of the same question marks and then some that it had a few days ago. And so I think that's just the calculus of it. Like their bullpen should be pretty good, whether it has Suarez or not, but obviously significantly better if it does happen.
Talking to AJ Cassavell of MLB.com, he's out there covering the Padres in Peoria, and I've been catching these tweets from our guy Sammy Lev. He has been up to date on what Ethan Salas has been doing, and today he tweeted, "Who's catching Matt Waldron and his knuckleball in the bullpen today? Ethan Salas." So I don't think that he's going to debut this year, but is there a chance? Why would he be working with Matt Waldron then?
Everyone works with everyone in spring training. I think there's probably if Matt Waldron's going to be part of this team in a couple, for the long haul, like you develop that rapport and with your eventual catcher of the future. I think it's more just spring training. You give those kind of opportunities to young catchers. Now, I will say the Padres have been not hesitant at all to throw Ethan Salas behind the plate for some of their better, bigger name starting pitchers. They had him catch Yu Darvish during his rehab assignment last year. And so I wouldn't read too much into it other than like the Padres are really high on Ethan Salas. And what we know that means from what the Padres have done in the past is that if he proves himself and if he earns it, the Padres will be willing to promote him pretty quickly. Now, he's farther away. I would maybe equate this. A lot of people have talked about how quickly the Padres move guys like Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis, even C.J. Abrams. Like I would equate this spring training maybe with like one spring early, one spring ahead of that. But they're going to give him opportunity this spring to at least like see how he fares against big league competition, then probably go down and see how he does in the minors. And like I would just on the surface assume that 2026 is when the Padres would like to see his arrival. If he forces their hand, I think they'll be more than happy to have that problem.
Yes, indeed. AJ Cassavell, appreciate the time as always. I want to give one last question to you, and I don't think we totally know the answer to this yet. Guys like Manny, Fernando, they're not to camp yet. Jackson Merrill, Xander, Jake. I mean, these are established, really good major league players. Yu Darvish and the rest of these guys. Do you have any sneaky suspicion, AJ, that they follow what happened in the offseason and they saw the Dodgers sign everybody, and they also saw everybody say that, well, that's it for the Padres. They have no chance of keeping up with L.A. now. Is that something they may use in their favor, the Padres, knowing these guys the way you do?
Yes, absolutely. I think we got that sense at FanFest. That was my biggest takeaway from talking with all these guys, for many of them for the first time all offseason after what the offseason was. was that the kind of external panic mode, online, whatever, is obviously different from what's happening in the real world in the minds of these guys, is that they think they're still a pretty good team, and they think the core is still really good and still has a chance to contend. And I don't think anyone is oblivious to the challenge that awaits them in Los Angeles and how good that team is. But they are maybe more confident that this is that they have a score to settle and that they have a talented team that could potentially do so than I think what the rest of the baseball world has looked at. Because I think a lot of people look at the NL West as a settled fact right now, and look, the Dodgers are clearly the favorites and should be. But when you talk to these guys, and like you said, a lot of them are in camp, but they're kind of just around. They haven't been going through regular workouts yet.
Yeah.
But when we talk to them at FanFest, they're pretty confident in the group that they're bringing back.
Well, we appreciate having a veteran beat writer on the program with us.
Absolutely.
10 years.
Yep.
You're not old enough to be 10 years, AJ.
He's got his service
that
time.
makes me feel old.
In Major League Baseball, too. I mean, isn't 10 years the big year for baseball players?
For baseball writers?
Yeah, it is. I don't think my service time will be 10 years, though, for a little bit. I have to complete the season and then go into next spring training.
Gotcha.
So that'll be 10 years.
Still, long time.
We appreciate it, AJ, always, and we'll see you down there in a few weeks. But thanks for taking time with us. We always appreciate it, and keep up the great work.
All right, cheers, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. AJ Cassavell there. Year number 10 on the Padre beat. That's a good chunk of time.
It's a very
with
good
the Friars.
Right?
You
know, you see reporters sometimes move. I like when reporters, if it fits them and they like doing what they do, to like be able to stay with a team and really get to know that team inside and out.
And you know where that happens more than any other place?
Where?
Here.
Oh, in San Diego.
Yes.
Well, it's easy to. Yeah.
Once people get here, they're less likely to leave.
I mean, I think
you get
AJ grew up in New Jersey. You know.
Yeah, and he's a Penn State guy. But once you get out here, things tend to look a little nicer to you. Like if you're in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia or Buffalo or wherever some of these places are. I know Buffalo didn't have a baseball team. You know what I mean? Those cities are easy to move on from.
Yes.
If you are working there.
Yes.
San Diego, not quite as much.
Like Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Sorry to all the Clevelanders.
No, that's a fair comment. You're sitting there in April and it's snowing on
I've never actually been to Cleveland. So
I have, and it's a pretty nice town.
You know, speaking of reporters who have moved on, our reporter from The Guardians, Mandy Bell was her name. I was trying to remember
recall that.
She is now moving into a different role within Major League Baseball, so that's kind of sad. We lost our Guardians reporter.
We'll get another one.
I don't want another one.
We need another one. You better
another
have
Guardians reporter.
You need a reporter from every team.
I do somewhat have
absolutely
that.
Imperative.
I do somewhat have that, but now I need a new one for the Guards. It's upsetting.
It's upsetting.
It is upsetting, but she was really good at her job. That's why I also was.
We have a lot of good writers that are good at their jobs who cover the Padres here. We've been lucky, and we have others that have covered the Padres in the past that have gone on to humongous things. Like I'm talking Plaschke's. I'm talking Tom Friend, one of the best sports writers ever, covered the Padres.
Buster
Olney, thank you. Another great one who's done, really well in his career.
We have a quick thing on the chat. Someone, oh gosh, I just lost it. Oh, Alfredo says, once again, nobody pays attention to Turso or Nellis. What's wrong with him now? I got to say this, because I get this a lot.
Yeah.
I have nothing against Turso or Nellis in left field, but he has to prove what he can do, because we don't have anything to go off of.
Yeah, and I'm not avoiding him. It's a fair question. I'm not trying to avoid him. It's just that people know Jason Heyward, know Connor. These are established people.
If he can beat them out, go ahead.
Yeah, there's absolutely no question that Ornelas is going to get a chance there in left field. And, I don't think any of us have forgotten him. But it's a fair question because we don't ask about him very often.
Because we get the same answer, which is we need to see more.
He slugs. He hammers the ball. He'll have a shot. All right, we'll come back. Hour number 2. Good start to the program today on 97.3 The Fan. Welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. Without Gwynn, at least for today, he'll be back next week. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby, together in our Odyssey Palace studios. Good job by A.J. Cassavell, the 10-year veteran of the San Diego. That's what I'm going to refer to him now every time.
Just
10-year veteran, yeah. 10-year veteran. He's only
Well, he said technically he has to go through this season to reach his 10 years.
Got it. But he's only like 20. I mean, maybe he's in his 30s. But you know
I
what I mean?
don't know.
He looks like a young kid to me.
Well,
To be in his 10th year.
not to be rude, but I think everybody does, Chris.
They don't all look as young. They all are young.
You
for
know,
sure.
I used to look young, and then I drank myself into looking my age.
Maybe so.
I haven't drank in 8 years, for everybody who doesn't know.
Good question by that last chat
Turso?
about Turso. You know, hey, why aren't you mentioning Turso or Nellis? Just let me add a few more names to that list that we should be asking about or could be. Brandon Lockridge, Forrest Wall, Jonathan Perlaza, Gavin Sheets, Oscar Gonzalez. More infield, but Eggy Rosario, maybe Mike Brusso. These are all guys that are going to come to camp and take their best shot. And if they stand out, they could wind up in the opening day lineup. Don't kid yourself. Any of these guys, some of them are non-roster invitees, some of them are on the 40-man roster, some of them are NRI. You and your NRI.
No, I love it.
I'm just saying, Turso Ornelas is one of those. That's all at this point. But he's got a chance. You look at Turso Ornelas. Let's take a little closer look at him before we get to the Daily Gambit. Last year's statistics, outstanding. 23 home runs, 89 RBIs, 297. Here's one of the questions about Turso Ornelas. He's 24 years old. Prior to last year's 23 home runs, he hit 15, 7, 7. Didn't really show the same power. Now you could say, okay, well, he's finally developed the power. Or you could say that his power last year is a product of playing in El Paso, which is like a 100-foot fence to left. You know what I mean?
Well, I've also heard the Pacific Coast League inflates
it's the whole Pacific
numbers.
Coast League. The whole Pacific Coast League inflates
I
numbers.
don't know how much it inflates numbers, but
Right. So, you know, that's what you're looking at with Turso Ornelas. Like if he had 53 home runs last year, it's, you know, there'd be a whole lot more attention on him. But 23 homers, that's good.
I'm looking at Eggy Rosario this year.
Eggy's another one.
I
mean,
think
he's
that
been
he might
around,
be a
and
guy that we're going to be seeing a lot of.
when he was in, you know, contributed last year, he was not bad, if I recall.
No, he wasn't. I'm going back to his page right now. Now we're talking about it. He hit 245, but he had a ton of power. He hit three. I mean,
He had 3 homers last year.
In 53 at bats, he
53.
hit 3 homers. Drove it. You know, I think he deserves a chance. His OPS was 814 for 53 at bats.
He's getting a chance.
Small sample size, but I would like to see Eggy take a next step.
He's getting a chance, and he's another name that could go to left field, even though he's never played there before. Don't forget, left field is pretty much where they stick anybody that can hit. If you can hit, they'll put you in left field.
Left is easier than right
Left is way easier than right.
because of the pole.
No, well, in Petco Park, I think yes, but also because the throw is not as far.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
better.
the right field has a
Yes.
lot of space.
When you're in Little League, right field is the worst guy. But in the major leagues, right field is the best guy.
Is
changed.
that why they put me
That's
in-
why you played right
No, I
field.
played second base. By the way, I threw the other day, Chris.
And
My arm feels okay. And now I did wake up with a little bit of soreness, but I'm making my way back to this softball stuff.
okay.
Chris doesn't seem convinced.
Well, we'll see you out there. We'll save a spot for you. Remember to listen at 5:30 today. We'll announce today's biggest fan, and that fan will have a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game with 20 of their best friends. Register your name if you're not registered already. Go to 973thefansd.com. Take a moment to do that. Put your name in. You're listening to the show anyway. Your name gets mentioned. All of a sudden, you could find yourself with a pretty cool night out. So sign up at 973thefansd/biggest fan.
I also take pride in having our names call back Like, I want to have more of our people call back than the other shows because I'm competitive.
All right. I wish you the best.
Okay.
Let's go to the Daily Gambit.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo!
If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in the Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. Nate has a comment. Jackson Merrill never played center until last year, which is very true.
And they were going to stick him in left.
And they were.
Until he proved that he was good enough to play center.
Yeah, I don't think we can ever compare anyone to Jackson Merrill and what he did last year. I think he's kind of on his own there.
He's a little bit ahead of a lot of guys, but no, the point is, if you got a bat and you don't have a position, left field will be the spot they put you in. That's just how it works.
Put me in, coach. We already sang that the other day.
We did.
All right, let's get into some of the bets we made last night. And I looked at the results, but I forgot to write down the scores. The Clippers did win over the Jazz, 120-116. The Clippers were also favored by 9.5 points.
They did not cover.
Picked the Clippers. They did not cover. OKC.
Let's just stop there.
Okay.
That's my only loss of the night. Go ahead.
I wish everybody could hear my eye roll through the radio right now. OKC played the Minnesota Timberwolves in Minnesota. OKC 8.5-point favorite. Chris convinced me with their stats that they don't play bad on the road, but they did this time. They lost 116-101, and so Chris wins that bet. Miami and Dallas. Now, Miami was -1.5 on the spread. Chris chose Dallas. I chose the Heat, and the Mavs won 118-113.
Yeah, those same fans were cheering the Mavericks again. Go figure.
Oh my goodness! There's a whole thing between the fans that got ejected from the stadium and then Mark Cuban.
I know.
It's so strange how this whole thing
has taken on a life of its own.
It really has.
And the one thing that the Dallas fans just fail to realize is that they still have a really good team. And when Anthony Davis comes back, they're going to have an even better, really good team.
You're going to see him in the groin rehab center.
I may run into him, yeah.
All right, so the Mavs win that one. UCSD -13.5 at Cal State Bakersfield last night. We both chose UCSD. UCSD did win, and they won by 19, so there you go. USD.
Tritons, again, let's stop and give them a little love because they continue to play some great basketball, and they really have a legit shot at getting into the NCAA tournament. And what is this, their first or second season of eligibility? I think it's their first season of eligibility.
I believe it's their first, yes.
Come on, guys. They can do it.
Yeah, I believe it's their first. We're going to try to – I guess they got home really late last night, so they could not come on the show today. We're going to try for Tuesday. All right, USD at Pepperdine. Pepperdine -8.5 on the spread. I chose Pepperdine. You chose USD. And those darn candy canes of Pepperdine, Chris, won, but they only won by 7, 88-81. So
yeah, meanwhile,
2 more points.
Meanwhile, still feeling it for the Toreros.
They're 4-23.
That is 13 losses in a row. I don't care what sport you're playing. I don't care what division you're in. 13 losses in a row hurts. That's tough.
Yeah, I mean
that's beyond a hang with them. 13 straight.
Has the Green Bay team actually
pulled out of its
Let me see.
malaise?
Now that we're here, because they've lost a lot in a row too.
What you're asking is 13, the longest losing streak in the country. The Citadel is working on 16 losses right now. Air Force has lost 15 in a row. They almost didn't because they almost beat the Aztecs a few weeks ago.
Keep talking.
Green Bay is at 20.
They're at 20 losses. Sorry, you beat me to it.
Yeah, Green Bay's got 20, so that's the longest.
All right.
I still feel for those kids because you know what? Teams that lose 13 in a row, guess what they do every day? They show up and they practice their butts off and they work out and they lift weights and they run and they stay in shape, just like all the teams that are winning games.
Yeah.
They really do. It's not like they just gave up. They're out there, man. They're playing it every day. And, to not be rewarded with a victory, that adds up.
That does add
hurts.
up.
That's tough.
It does. And at a certain point, you just want to quit, I bet.
Well, that's probably what you would do, but that's
no,
not
I said
what real
want to.
athletes
want
do.
Want to.
I don't think quit is ever an option.
No, it's definitely an option.
It's a lousy
Just
option.
Talk about Ben Simmons and
Lousy
Zion Williams
option.
and all those guys. Joel Embiid.
Move on.
Gonzaga minus 14.5 at the USF Dons last night. Both of us chose the Dons. The Dons did lose, but they also covered 88-77, so I'm good with that.
Yeah.
UCLA women at the USC women. USC minus 1.5 on the spread. This wasn't even close, Chris. USC you chose, and they won 71-60, an 11-point blowout for a undefeated UCLA team. Sorry, they were now one defeat.
Right. Well, I said it yesterday. I mean, an undefeated season is really something. And USC's got a very good team. So
they do.
UCLA finally tastes defeat. All right, so do you want to add up the actual records from last night, or would you like me to just scoot past it?
Just scoot past it, because
I will not do that. I was 6-1. You were 2-5.
I will not.
We got some picks for today. We'll let you in on those in just a few minutes. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we have our Friday countdown. Tell you about that as well when we come back. And the Miami Dolphins have released a superstar.
I think it's time we start putting the Dolphins on the back burner after all these moves they've made.
We'll talk about that as well when Gwynn and Chris resumes after traffic. 100 NBA experts voted on MVP at this point in the season. 71st place votes out of 104.
SGA?
SGA, yeah. He's looking like the guy. Jokic is the only guy even close. Jokic has 30. The other 30 first place votes. That's it. No other player got a first place vote. Jokic couldn't guard me.
Doesn't matter.
Well, he could because he's that tall. He would
he just
swat away the
stands
shot.
in the way, and then.
But he doesn't even try half the time on defense. That's the only thing that bothers me about the fact that he's already a 3-time MVP winner. There are two sides to the court, but nobody looks at that stuff in the NBA.
No.
They never have.
You got to score a lot of points.
And
don't you think his rebounding is defensive prowess?
That's part, yeah, fair enough. I'm talking about actually guarding a guy, though.
Yeah, I get it.
Doncic gets rebounds, too. Doncic. He gets rebounds, too, but he doesn't guard anyone.
He's a parking cone out there. They just go around him.
That's accurate. Hopefully that will change with the Lakers. Raheem Mostert has been released by the Dolphins, to which I say, who are we going to get the fumble now when we're inside the 10-yard line and need a score?
I do love these little headlines that become front-page headlines. Like, this is not that big of a
It's not
deal.
that big. He's going to make a ton of money next year, and they're not going to pay that for, their third running back. So, yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer. He did all right for the Dolphins, though, especially not this past year. The year before, didn't he have like 20 touchdowns?
Oh, yeah, he had a ton of touchdowns,
Yeah,
but he's always injured.
Last year he had a fumble year, and that was stressful for me. Was there one other thing?
I don't know.
That I wanted to talk about before we get our picks in for the day?
I'm not sure. You didn't tell me.
Yes, I did. I think I mentioned it, but now I can't remember.
You said the Dolphins, which is what we talked about.
Oh, we have our countdown coming up.
Oh, you wanted to talk a little bit about that, I guess.
Well, I just want to let everybody know what we're going to do. There's been 6 coaching changes in the NFL. Today's countdown will be what have been the best 5.
Yeah. So
basically,
yeah.
We'll leave one out, and if you don't make the list, then you were the world's worst coaching change.
I'm not sure who I want to choose for that 6th. I got some candidates.
Yeah, there's 6 candidates for
I know.
it. Every one of those coaching moves could be bad in the NFL. We'll tell you who's best coming up. Before that, though, we have a few picks to make for tonight, and it's not much. First of all, there's no NBA, right? There's no NHL.
The Americans, man.
Thank goodness for the Tkachuk brothers. They combined for 4 goals last night.
That was pretty awesome.
United States 6, Finland 1. Don't mess with us, Finland.
It was 1-1 when I was getting ready to leave here, and then I looked back up, and it was 6-1.
They won comfortably.
USA.
I don't know what the stand. I'm having trouble following the tournament. Like, I know the USA, I believe, has played twice, and they've won twice. Other than that, I don't know anything.
That's all I care about.
Yeah. I will say tomorrow night, if you are hockey, 5 o'clock on ABC, so it's gettable. USA Canada. That's always
I like that
that's
one.
always a match, for sure.
Take down the Canadians. Let's go, America.
Don't want to go political at all.
That's not political.
No, I don't want to go political, but I don't know how I feel. Actually, I do know how I feel. I don't really love it.
What?
Getting our national anthem booed by people.
Oh, I hate that too.
Yeah.
I hate that too. That's why we should doubly stick it to Canada, Team USA.
They asked Keith Tkachuk about it, and he didn't want to get political either. And he said, not a big fan of it. That's it. Like, don't ask me anything more. But, yeah, that's not a great thing.
It's not, but it's also Canadian people doing Canadian things, Chris.
All right.
And for all the Canadian people out there, please, I'm joking.
You just put yourself in harm's way there.
As soon as I said it, I thought, oh no, I'm going to get some DMs about Canada.
I have great respect for the Habs out there.
Okay, let's move on.
Les Habitants. UCLA basketball tonight at Indiana. 1.5 point favorite. Has the crazy Mick Cronin finally, is he just a mad scientist and he knew what he was doing all along?
Delusional.
Called his kids delusional, said they don't try, said his coaches stink. I mean, stuff that looked bad when they lost 2 or 3 games in a row.
It's true.
But now, 9-5, they're doing all right in the conference. At Indiana's going through its own thing. Indiana's a big basketball school, as everybody knows.
Yeah, and the coach stepped down.
Mike, no, he hasn't. He's going to step down at the end of the season.
Oh, okay.
But he's also refused to do any pregame or postgame interviews now. He sends his assistant coaches. It's becoming a thing in Indiana.
Goodness. Why is everything a thing?
It's a thing.
Everything has to be a thing.
Who do you like here? UCLA -1.5, or do you like?
I mean,
the
Indiana's
Hoosiers?
in shambles, so
Wow.
I'm going to go with
Shambles.
UCLA.
Going with the Bruins. I should go with the Bruins, but they're only 3-4 on the road. Indiana 11-3 at home. I'll take
Okay.
Indiana.
All right.
Mountain West tonight, Nevada 7.5 over San Jose State.
In Nevada?
Nope.
Okay.
I have to take San Jose State based on what I saw the other night. I know the Aztecs didn't play the great first half, but San Jose State had some guys sticking shots all night.
And they played, I believe, without their best player.
2 of them.
Yeah. Which doesn't look good for the Aztecs at all, but I'm going to go with San Jose State as well.
San Jose State. All right, I put this one in for you.
Oh, yay.
Northern Kentucky, favored by 6.5 at Green Bay. Green Bay, coached by Doug Gottlieb.
Yep.
And, if Green Bay was having a decent season, nobody'd say anything about this.
No.
But the fact that he's a national talk show host and a college basketball coach has caused a lot of grief for him.
Yep.
And his
Sure
team has lost 20 in a row. Who do you like tonight? It's at Green Bay. They're home. I don't know if Northern Kentucky having a great season either, but they're 6.5
I'm going to go with
point
Northern
favorite.
Kentucky. And
You're going with Northern Kentucky anyway.
I can't bet on a team that's lost 20 in a row.
I can. Come on, Green Bay. Tomorrow, a good game. Houston at Arizona. It's for the lead in the Big 12. Now, Arizona's come from nowhere. They got off to a very poor start. Kind of were left for, dead there. But they've rallied back to 11-2 in the conference. Houston is 12-1. So it's the top 2 teams in the Big 12 tomorrow at Arizona. Houston's favored. I'm supposed to go with Houston because it benefits the Aztecs. But I'm not. I'm going with the home team, Arizona.
What's the spread?
1.5.
1.5.
Houston
okay.
favored.
I'll go with Houston.
You can. Tomorrow, that is not the biggest game. Not even close.
Duke and
It's
or
not
Auburn,
Duke.
Alabama.
Auburn, Alabama.
The Iron Bowl of basketball.
Yeah. You got the number 1 team in the country and the number 2 team in the country.
Who's home?
Alabama is home. So it'll be in Tuscaloosa. Bama is a 1.5 point favorite.
Wow.
Over Auburn.
Auburn.
Who you going with there?
Bama.
You are, huh?
Yep.
We've talked earlier about the fact that there's too much hate out there. So I'm not going to go as far to say as I hate Alabama. But I don't like them. You know that? I have to go with Auburn.
Wow.
Tomorrow night at Viejas Arena, final game on the board. It's another big one for the Aztecs. They got to keep it going. They're playing a tough club, Boise State. Aztecs did win the first game in Boise a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. San Diego State favored by 2.5. I have to go with the Aztecs. But this will be another tough game. By the way, if you're going to that game tomorrow, wear something black.
It's a blackout.
The Aztecs are, I'm sure, going to wear black uniforms,
Yep.
and everybody's got to be in.
I think the Aztecs win this game by 1 point, so I'm going to go with Boise.
That is no way to bet, my friend.
Wait, are we done? We didn't do Daytona 500 bets.
What bets are there to make on that?
All the drivers.
All right, well, give me something to bet on. I'll try to.
Would you like to bet on Ross
it.
Chastain?
I don't even know. The funny thing about the NASCAR is that I used to actually know some of the names.
Here are the top names.
But I really don't even know the names anymore of the NASCAR drivers.
I
It's a
guarantee
whole
you
new...
could name one of the top 10.
Kevin Harvick. No?
Yeah, that's a name, but he's not in the top 10. I was thinking you were going to go with like Kyle Busch or something.
Yeah. These are not names I know. I'm looking at them
So it
right
goes
now.
Kyle Larson,
Bubba
Ryan
Wallace.
Blaney.
I know Bubba.
Oh, yeah, Bubba Wallace. Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski,
right.
Chase Elliott.
Okay. I know a few of them.
And then if you want Elio Castro Neves, that is a sneak of a play right there.
He
Plus
won the
28,500.
He won the Indy 500 like 30 years ago.
No, he's won it a couple times.
Yeah, and
I
he
believe.
was on my radio show after he won the Indy
Elio
500.
Castro Neves.
I did an interview
Did you
with
ask
that
him
guy.
about the milk?
I don't know of that, but I know he climbed up the fence because he was the spider guy. He'd always climb up the fence when he won.
The Indy 500 is a big deal in my family, so.
Oh. I can't believe Elio's still going.
Well, he does, like some of these IndyCar drivers sometimes go over to NASCAR and they race in the big races. But plus 25,000 for a guy like Elio Castro Neves?
You gonna go with it?
I might put $10 on that.
Elio Castro. I don't know if Elio's the right pronunciation.
I think it's Elio.
Helio. He was born in 1975.
Great.
So he's 50 or 49.
That is older than I would
It's
have
a
thought.
little older. Good for him. I'll take him too. How do you like that?
Okay, you'll take Elio?
Pile on the Elio Castro Neves bandwagon.
All right.
There's that. Gwynn and Chris with our countdown coming up next.
Ben and Wood.
you idiot. Right. Typical tandem student right there.
I tried. I wrecked your good job, buddy.
Fun, huh?
You need help with anything? Okay, I'm nervous.
Really struggling with our countdown today, Skrabe. It's coming up in a moment. 3:36 is the time. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby, together in our Odyssey Palace studios. It's the Gwynn and Chris program. Tony will be back next week. I want to try something here.
Uh-oh.
Because the NBA All-Star Game, we talked about it the whole weekend. It's not a game anymore. It's the whole weekend, right? You've got skills. You've got this, that, the other. But the event that has fallen the farthest of any event
dunk competition
in all of sports is the dunk contest, right?
No one cares anymore.
No one cares. And
I blame LeBron for this.
I'm going to show you how little people care. I'm going to give you the 4 contestants in this year's dunk contest. You tell me what team they play for.
Ooh, I like this game.
How about Stefan Castle?
You start me off with that one, huh?
Exactly.
I'm going to say
You're going to take a guess?
I'm going to say he plays for the Pacers.
Okay. How about Andre Jackson Jr.? Who does he play for? Guaranteed nobody knows the answers to these questions.
The Suns.
Okay. Matas Buzelis. He's the third of 4.
The Bucks.
Okay. Finally, the defending champion. If anybody could name that, it would be a miracle. The defending champion, Mac McClung.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, who does he play for?
Is he on the Thunder?
Okay. You and everybody else.
Did I go 0 for 4?
Yeah, you and everybody else went 0 for 4.
That's embarrassing.
There's no way to get any of them right. The only one I would have got is Matas Buzelis because he plays for the Bulls, and I've heard of him. Stefan Castle is with the Spurs. Andre Jackson Jr. is with the Bucks.
Oh, did I get that one right?
No, you guessed somebody else for the Bucks. And Mac McClung plays for the Osceola Magic in the G League. It's not even in the NBA.
Okay, that's why. Yes, okay. I knew that I've heard of Mac McClung before, but I didn't know that he wasn't in the NBA still.
Not even in the NBA.
Well, is that because he's the defending champ? He has to defend his title?
I guess he's trying to become the first player ever to three-peat. Oh, so does this make Mac McClung a better dunker than Dominique Wilkins or Vince Carter? I mean, this event is so, over.
I blame LeBron.
You blame him for
never taking part in it.
Oh.
Always turning it down. He's too good for the dunk competition.
All right.
I mean, come on.
Why are you blaming
If LeBron would have done it when he was 30 years old, that would have been
all the stars would have kept doing it?
Maybe not this long, but
I mean, the reason the dunk contest
it would have reinvigorated.
I mean, if you look back to the late 80s and you had Jordan and Dominique in it, and come on. Some of the rosters for the dunk contest was like a who's who of highlight reels. It was incredible. You couldn't miss this dunk contest.
You're right.
All right.
It just doesn't make sense for these players to do it anymore.
Why not?
They don't get anything from it.
They don't want to get hurt?
No, I don't think they get anything from it other than saying that I competed in the dunk competition. I don't think they get paid. Maybe very little if they do.
How much do you need to run out there and, dunk a basketball?
For those guys?
By the way,
$50,000?
By the way, ESPN kind of bugs me in one way.
Yeah, this is a daily gripe show for Chris.
A little bit. When they give me the top 10 plays of the day, and 4 of them are just dunk shots. Dunk shots are not difficult for these guys. It's impressive if I did it, but it's not impressive when an NBA guy goes up with somebody's arm in the way and dunks the ball. That's just not. It's not a top 10 thing anymore. It used to be, but it's not. We've seen a million dunks. Every now and again, there's one that you go, whoa, like that brings you out of your seat. But for the most part, dunks, 2 points.
I guess you get $125,000 for winning.
That's not much. You're right. Honestly, they should at least have $1 million on the table.
I mean, it is the NBA.
Not that would entice them either.
It might. For some of those guys, it would.
All right, let's check traffic, and then we'll work our best for this countdown. But I have issues.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Deal with much drier conditions this afternoon. Yeah, you might still find a little flooding in various parts of the county. Also some potholes left over from the storm, but Caltransit's doing a great job of repairing a lot of those. Right now, just one accident to let you know about. This is on southbound 805, right before the King Freeway. Got a couple vehicles involved in this one. Appears to be in middle lane, so just watch out for a little confusion there. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's now time for Gwynn and Chris to rank their top 5 of the day.
Gonna grip and rip as usual.
But this isn't just a regular top 5 list.
I love it. It sounds sadistic, but I love it.
This is the countdown. And it starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. Today's topic shouldn't be that difficult to sort out. I was saying there were 6 new hires in the NFL. There's actually 7. So we were off by 1 there.
Doesn't make it any easier.
It doesn't make it a lot easier. All we're trying to do with the new NFL coaches hired, the 7 of them, what's our top 5? Now, that means that 2 guys are going to get left out entirely, which means we really don't think much of them. Are you ready, Skraby? Were you able to piece together your list? Because this is really difficult to do.
As best I could, and
Number 5.
Who's going to do the 5th best?
I can't believe I'm saying this.
Okay.
But I think Brian Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer.
Just because he
of the
has
Cowboys.
Yes, he has good players on his team. He's got CeeDee Lamb, he's got Dak, he's got Micah Parsons, he's got the Diggs brother, Trayvon.
Yeah.
I think he has pieces. We'll see if he can put it together.
He also has a quarterback who said the other day that they're just that close to being the next Philadelphia Eagles team.
Yeah,
I don't.
Sure.
Maybe we need to get Mick Cronin to introduce himself to Dak Prescott.
Well, what is he supposed to say? He's probably so disappointed with how the offseason's gone.
I saw something the other day that just tells me how dumb Jerry Jones is. But they put up the amount of money of salary this next year that the top 3 team quarterbacks in the NFC East are going to get.
Okay.
Jade Daniels was like $6 million. Obviously, he's a young quarterback, but that's his salary. Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl, $22 million.
Not much.
Something like that, maybe 25
for a starter.
Right. Dak Prescott, 89. Like, what? It's not even in the neighborhood. 89 or 87 maybe. But
oh, that's a big difference.
Yeah, I know. But that's $60 million more than Jalen Hurts.
How many years has he been in the league?
I don't know.
Because I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything.
You got Schottenheimer 5.
Yes.
Brian Schottenheimer.
Can't believe I'm saying that.
Well, based on some of the other choices, maybe it's not that far-fetched. Number 5, new head coaching hire for me, Ben Johnson, Chicago Bears. Probably should be higher because he does seem like he's going to be one of these fun, really smart, intelligent, genius coaches. But it's also the same thing they said about my guy, Mike McDaniel, when he was calling all of these great plays for the 49ers and they were all working. Now Ben Johnson, the plays that worked for the Lions are going to have to be executed by the likes of Caleb Williams and overseen by perhaps the worst front office / ownership group in the NFL. That is going to make it tough on Ben Johnson to go any higher than 5th best.
All right. I don't mind that one.
Okay.
Number 4.
You're going to hate this one.
What do I got?
Mike Vrabel.
He made your list at least.
I couldn't leave him off the
list.
I don't think he's going to fail as bad as the 2 I left off, but Mike Vrabel I've never been a fan of.
I know. You don't
He
like
was
him.
fired by the Titans, which I thought he should have been. Everybody was disagreeing with me. I don't know that he's a great coach. So, but he has Drake May, He's got some other guys. It's going to take a little bit for the Patriots to come back. So Mike Vrabel, number 4.
All right. Number 4 for me, Liam Cohen. Here's who I thought of when I first saw him introduced. Nick Sirianni. He just doesn't look like he has a clue what's going on in there. He's really weird, and what does all that Duval stuff mean?
Well, they chant Duval because that's the county, and he tried to do it, but he did it in a very dorky way.
Yeah. He's so dorky. He's so seemingly out of touch that he's probably going to have some crazy success somewhere for Jacksonville. I'm taking a long shot on him, number 4.
Okay.
It's a long
Number 3.
Okay. My number 3, Jets head coach Aaron Glenn.
Okay.
I think that Aaron Glenn proved over the years that he can coach, and I think players are going to listen to him. Now, can he get past the Woody Johnson ownership? I don't know.
Yeah,
doesn't seem
hard.
like many can get past the Woody Johnson ownership.
We're really the one, I don't want to say the only, but we're one of these shows that really does point this out. If you have lousy ownership, it's hard to do your job in sports. And we've seen it in all sports at all levels. It's just tough, and you're right. Aaron Glenn is going to have to listen to Woody Johnson at some point, and that's not a good thing.
Yep, it's true. And his son, Brick.
Oh, God. That guy.
Right? I'm getting pushback on this Mike Vrabel.
All right, well, let's finish the list, and then we'll go back to that. Number 3 is also Aaron Glenn for me. He's a defensive coach, which I think is what's needed.
Yeah.
He also doesn't have to deal with Aaron Rodgers. That helps. And the Jets do have some talented defensive players. This might be able to spur them to do something and play like they are capable.
They have on their team from 2 years ago,
right?
Both rookies of the year.
I know.
Sauce and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
You should be able to do something with that.
I think Aaron Glenn has a shot, but I'm concerned about the same thing you're concerned. All right, number
2.
My number 2 is going to be Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson.
Honestly, I didn't want to rank him either, but I had to, and I think he has a good opportunity because if anyone is going to bring out the best in Caleb Williams, it's probably a guy like Ben Johnson. He seems like a guy that players like to play for. I think the Bears have a decent team. They just haven't had the coaching, and I'm thinking he may be able to find that.
The one good thing for Ben Johnson is that he can be an absolute nincompoop and still be an upgrade over what they had last year.
Eberflus?
Yeah. So that's something in his favor.
Yes, that is.
Number 2 for me is Pete Carroll, because I really think Pete Carroll is one of the great coaches. He's got the Raiders. I think Mark Davis will be smart enough to leave him alone enough. He needs some players, but he'll look at this defense and he'll turn it into something. What the most he can do, turn it into. And then, you give him a quarterback the next couple of years. Right? Pete Carroll's going to put it all in there for the next 2 or 3 years. He's not going to be coaching when he's 85.
I think he will.
You think he will?
He does seem like a guy who would coach till he's dead, basically.
Pete Carroll's earned my respect over time. And that's saying something because I didn't like him at the very beginning.
All right.
Who's your number 1? Your number 1 coaching move?
He has changed over time.
He's softened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine's Pete Carroll, just track record, Super Bowl winner, gotten his team to a couple Super Bowls. I don't necessarily know if he's going to be great with the Raiders, but I do know that he will at least try and change that whole entire program around.
And that's going to be doing something because the Raiders' culture's needed attention for a while.
It has, yes.
There's only really been one coach, well, maybe 2, in the history of the Raiders that have been able to handle the Raider mystique and put it together in a way that was successful. And that's Madden and Tom Flores, who combined to win their 3 Super Bowl titles. Gruden was close. Not bad. Number 1 for me is
What about
Mike.
Lane Kiffin?
Yeah. Number 1 for me is Mike Vrabel. He's the best coach on this list by a mile. It's not even close. He worked wonders with the Tennessee Titans. He won playoff games with Ryan Tannehill.
Okay, Ryan Tannehill was a serviceable quarterback for those years. Can we also say they had the best running back in football, Derrick Henry? Can we also say that they had A.J. Brown on their team as well? Like, don't say, oh, you had Ryan Tannehill. Come on.
Well, you watch, man. Mike Vrabel's going to get the toughness of the Patriots back. They'll probably be close to 500 next year.
He's 2-3 in the playoffs.
You'll have to eat your words.
He went 9-7, 9-7. Then he had 2 good years, 11-5, 12-5.
Yeah, well, let's just dismiss those.
Then he went 7-10 and 6-11. Like,
I got you.
Why is he such a good coach when he has more?
He out of those 6 years, he probably had the 20 to 25th best team in the league every year.
That's not true.
He made them into something.
Oh my goodness, you guys put him on a pedestal for nothing.
I drink Mike Vrabel's
Kool-Aid?
Kool-Aid.
I was going to say, what else? Hopefully, never mind.
All right, that's our list. But here's the funny thing.
What?
Who are the 2 coaches that we left out that didn't make either of our lists? Because remember, there were 7 new hires. One guy was left off of both our lists. I left off Brian Schottenheimer.
Ryan Tannehill, I'm sorry, I just interrupted you crazily. In 2020, Ryan Tannehill threw 33 touchdowns and only threw 7 interceptions,
That's
almost 4,000 yards.
That's an incredible
Derrick
coaching
Henry
job.
rushed for over 2,000 yards in a 16-game season.
That's an incredible job of any coach to get Tannehill go 33-7.
You're just saying that because you're a Dolphin guy.
I watched Tannehill up close. He was not a 33-7 guy.
And it has nothing. People are calling me a hater. People are saying that I don't like him because he's a Pat. No, I'm just telling you like it is. He's a mediocre coach.
You're not telling it like it is. You're telling it wrong.
He's a mediocre coach.
All right, let's get to the rest
He's
of
a mediocre coach. Okay, so
I kept off Schottenheimer. You didn't put Liam Cohen. But neither of us put on our top 5 Kellen Moore.
He's doomed.
Why did neither of us believe he's got any shot at all? He just won the Super Bowl with the Eagles.
Yeah, he did. You're right. But it seems like he was the last choice for the Saints. Like, I don't think anyone else was taking that job. And you know what? I do like guys that take jobs that maybe aren't going to be the easiest, so I appreciate him for that. Just don't know that he can do it with the Saints. My Liam Cohen thing, like, the way that they changed their entire franchise around just for him was very strange to me. This guy's a nobody, and they fired their GM just so that he comes back.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Very weird.
There's something weird about Liam Cohen that I like, and I don't know at all what it is.
I'm not even going to
look
at
at the chat. Like I said, it's Sirianni. When Sirianni was introduced to the Eagles, I thought this is the dumbest thing that's ever happened. You said the same thing.
What?
Sirianni, when he first got to the Eagles. His opening press conference was a disaster.
I won't judge press conferences anymore.
He barely even knew what team he was coaching for at the time.
He was very nervous.
That's why I think Liam Cohen's going to surprise you.
All you all out there telling me I'm wrong about Mike Vrabel, drink the Kool-Aid, but when he's a mediocre coach, don't come crying to me when you want to join the train.
All right, so... Yeah, you just don't like.
Can I go more into the stats of how great the players were on his team?
Well, and have any of them other than Derrick Henry ever been that great anywhere else?
Guess what, A.J. Brown? Guess what? In 2020 and 2021, his 2 best years, he was 1 and done in the playoffs. What do you guys say about that?
I don't know. I'm comparing him to Aaron Glenn and Brian Schottenheimer and the rest of these.
I know, that is hard to. I mean, I don't. Mike Vrabel made the list, Chris.
Mike Vrabel, I think he can coach. All right, we'll take a break.
Can't coach his way out of a paper bag. I don't know why I'm going so hard in the paint on Mike Vrabel, but
yeah, you're good. You're really overdoing it.
I've done it, and so when he goes 17-0 this year, I'm gonna have to eat my words.
Won't be the first time. Here we go with a little Chris versus the fans. 833-288-0973.
Ecom, Bakadaku on the same team, Robin, Morg on the same team. Ecom and Morg are fighting on the left side. And now, Morg is down to 1 stock, Ecom down to 1 stock. Bakadaku has 3 stocks. But Farrell needs to win this one to stay alive. Econ and Robin on the left. Morgan Bakadaku on the right. Morgan and Ecom only have one stock. Bakadaku, Robin have two stocks. Now Robin, the only one with two stocks. Everybody else with one. Kearney took the first game. And now it's 2-on-1. Actually, Morg is back, so now it's back to full strength on each side. Everybody has one stock at this point. Robin looks to be out. Ecom and Bakadaku against Morg. O'Farrell needs this. Morg hanging on. Bakadaku, Ecom both with one life. Morg. And there you go. O'Farrell ties it up. Now we go into the third and final game.
3, 2, 1, go!
It's this. Each team, O'Farrell and Kearney, have won a game so far in the championship round. Loser comes in second. Winner wins it all. Bakadaku and Robin on the left. Morg and Ecom on the right. Both floating. Everybody with 3 stocks except for Ecom, who has 2 stocks. Now Robin down to 2 stocks. Ecom and Bakadaku trying to get back on the stage. Bakadaku does. Ecom does. Again, this is the third game of the championship round. Morg has 3 stocks. Everybody else has 2. Stephanie says, let's go. Robin and Bakadaku are battling on the left. Everybody with 2 stocks now. As even as it can get in the third game of the final match, final round. Now Ecom down to 1 stock. Everybody else has 2. Robin and Ecom on the left, Bakadaku and Morg on the right, but now Ecom and Bakadaku trying to team up. Robin now with 1 stock, Ecom 1 stock. Everybody else with 2. Bakadaku and Morg 2. Ecom no stocks. But we'll be back. Bakadaku and Ecom down to their last stock. Morgan and Robin have control right now. Ecom and Bakadaku O'Farrell. Morgan Robin from Kearney. And that's it. Kearney High School takes it in 3 games. So let me just figure this out just to make sure I have everything. But I believe the tournament is now over, and Kearney High School has won it all. O'Farrell has come in second, and E3 Civic High School takes home 3rd place. So thanks to everybody for watching on the stream. Ecom, Bakadaku on the same team, Robin, Morg on the same team. Ecom and Morg fighting on the left side. And now Morg is down to 1 stock, Ecom down to 1 stock. Bakadaku has 3 stocks. O'Farrell needs to win this one to stay alive. Econ and Robin on the left. Morgan Bakadaku on the right. Morgan and Ecom only have 1 stock. Bakadaku, Robin have 2 stocks. Now Robin, the only one with 2 stocks. Everybody else with 1. Kearney took the first game. And now it's 2-on-1. Actually, Morg is back, so now it's back to full strength on each side. Everybody has 1 stock at this point. Robin looks to be out. Ecom and Bakadaku against Morg. O'Farrell needs this. Morg hanging on. Bakadaku, Ecom both with 1 life. Morg. And there you go. O'Farrell ties it up. Now we go into the 3rd and final game.
3, 2, 1, go!
Home here on a Friday. Chris L, Matt Skraby together in the Odyssey Palace Studios. Tony Gwynn Jr. will be back on Tuesday. We're all off on Monday, Skrabe. Extra day. 3-day weekend.
What are you going to do with your extra day?
Same thing I do with a 2-day weekend.
Hang out with Kylie?
Sit around, yeah. 3-day weekend just give me an extra day to sit around normally. Let's see. There's really no Padre news of any kind to pass along to you today.
Not really.
Connor Joe, Jason Heyward, among those who were at camp today, they spoke to our Sammy Levitt. You can hear all of those interviews and things on our webpage, 973thefansd.com.
Also Twitter at 973thefansd.
Okay. Connor Joe had some cool things to say about growing up in San Diego, though, and rubbing shoulders with the likes of, he said Tony Gwynn lived down the street from him.
Yep.
We're not talking Tony Gwynn Jr. We're talking Tony Gwynn.
Well, I guess Tony Gwynn Jr.
Right, Tony
did.
Gwynn Jr. would have lived down the street as well. Good point.
Him and his ferret that he wanted.
I wonder if Tony Gwynn Jr. took the golf cart they bought him one year down to Connor Joe's house.
Maybe. I don't know. Connor Joe's much younger than Tony.
Yeah, I know. The only reason I mentioned that is, remember we talked about best gifts we ever got? And Tony opened with, I got a golf cart. I'm like, who gets a golf cart?
We were both like, excuse me?
A golf cart.
Yeah, and then his number one was his private jet that he got.
No, he's not. He's still looking for the private jet. Also, Jason Heyward. You can hear from him on the website or Twitter. There's no big moves around baseball. Arizona signed a reliever, Kendall Graveman.
I guess
he's had a little success.
The Alex Bregman deal is I believe it's done now. It's official.
Well, it was done. Yankees right-hander Marcus Stroman came to Yankee camp today and was asked if he would be willing to contribute in the bullpen.
Hold on, give me some time. I didn't know we were going in this
do you
direction.
have this quote?
Yes, because you have to hear the tone of everything.
I know that you don't want to do this, but I just saying it the way he did just seemed to probably not going to make people in New York too happy.
Yeah, the question is a part of it. This is from Yes Network.
Okay.
Considering your pedigree, could you handle being a reliever?
I'm a starter.
So right now,
I'm a starter.
You're the sixth starter. So how do you handle that?
See how it plays out. I'm a starter.
You do not want to pitch in the bullpen.
I won't pitch in the bullpen. I'm a starter.
Here's why he was asked that. Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt, and the rookie from a year ago, Luis Gil.
Oh, yeah.
Spelled Gil, but Gil.
Yes.
So Stroman is really the sixth guy. But he's not going to pitch in the bullpen, apparently, for the Yankees.
I don't know how I feel about this. Maybe we need to talk about this later because we don't have time now.
Maybe he's just to do what's best for him, and
exactly.
That's just important. All right, you're right. There's not really much else in the way of headlines. Let's go to today's Chris vs. the Fans contest.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris vs. the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. Here are the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you are a first-time player, Thank you for a better effort today.
Yeah, it was
just let us know before you play, and you'll get that first question for free today. And what we are playing for today, 2 things. A qualification for a trip to Las Vegas for the Motley Crue just announced their brand new Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM, March 28th through April 19th. You'll be qualified for a chance to win a trip to Vegas to see the show live, including 2 tickets to the show, plus a hotel stay at Park MGM. Get your tickets now for that show at Ticketmaster.com. Also, you will win a pair of tickets to the San Diego State basketball game against Boise State, February 18th? Is that right?
No.
Yeah.
It's February 15th. It's tomorrow night.
That's what I thought. February 15th. Okay. Grab tickets at goaztecs.com. Let me get to our first contestant.
We have to do this. Is there anything you could put on the television like paint drying?
Okay, why?
Because the NBA All-Star Skills Challenge is not going to do it for me.
Oh, I can do the... Oh, wait. This is the celebrity version.
No kidding. It's not only the celebrity version, but have you heard of any of the celebrities?
No.
I haven't.
I'll keep watching.
I don't feel like I'm that out of touch. I know a lot of celebrities. I don't know any of these. Go ahead. Pick our first contestant. Let's play ball.
All right. Let's go to Sean.
Sean.
Hello, Sean.
Hello, Sean.
Hello.
Are you ready to play?
I am.
All right, here we go. What does Major League Baseball rub on the baseballs before they are put in play?
Rosin?
Rosin.
Chris, do you know?
Mississippi mud.
I would have accepted mud, but
just mud. You would have
Mississippi
accepted?
mud is what they call it. Sorry about that, Sean.
Sorry, Sean.
I thought that was... Is that not question number 1? I feel kind of weird about that question, to be honest.
Can't go back now, Skraby.
Okay, here we go to our next contestant. Let's go to Nick. Hello, Nick.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks for calling in.
Appreciate that, Nick.
All
Very
right,
nice of you.
here we go. What state is the Daytona 500 raced in?
Florida.
Florida is correct. All right, let's go to question
And it's
number-
this weekend.
Yes.
The Super Bowl of auto racing.
Yes.
Another thing
the
that
Super
always...
Bowl of NASCAR.
I'm sorry, of NASCAR. Always felt that was strange that the Super Bowl is like one of the first events of the year, but that's just me. Don't you find that to be strange?
Nah. All right, now you put it like that. I guess it's like the kickoff to the year.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm going to think about that all weekend. Nick, which Hall of Fame boxer wanted to back out of an upcoming fight because he had a dream he was going to kill his opponent in the ring?
Oh, my God.
Wow, that's pretty random. That sounds something like Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson. Are my questions too random today?
A little. I didn't realize. Was it Canelo Alvarez? I don't know boxing too well, but that's the one that's coming up, I thought. Oh, see,
You
I
are
was
alive, Nick.
Yeah, who was
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Oh, wait, I thought it was something that was happening like now.
No, it said which Hall of Fame boxer
wanted
to back out of an upcoming fight.
Oh, I see. When you said upcoming fight, I thought you meant like upcoming, like next week.
See.
That's what threw me off.
Can't go back, Chris.
No, you're good, Nick. I wouldn't have got it right anyway.
It says it was from my book, by the way.
No, that's good.
It says after being convinced by a priest to move forward with the fight on June 24th, 1947, Robinson knocked out Jimmy Doyle in the 8th round. Jimmy Doyle died the next day.
Get out.
That's what it says.
That's a real thing that happened.
I trust the
Sugar
book.
Ray, who was an amazing fighter back in that time, Sugar Ray Robinson, before Sugar Ray Leonard, people remember him, but
yes.
Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson was an all-timer.
I thought Sugar Ray Leonard was Sugar Ray Robinson.
No, they're different.
All
but
right,
I didn't know that he knocked the kid out and then
died next day.
And he had a dream about it.
He had a dream, and the priest had to convince him to fight.
Nice
I don't know how you come back from that.
Priest has got to
check his search.
Check his
Check his admittance into heaven or something, because that couldn't have been more
Check
wrong.
his sources.
Yeah, that was
All
a
right,
better
Nick, you're
thing.
still alive.
Yeah, sorry, Nick. We're
No,
just
he's
talking
good.
over here.
He's good.
All right. Let's see. Which golf major is the last to be played in the calendar year?
That's a 3?
I guess so.
Wow. All right.
All right. I think it's the British Open.
British Open.
Because Chris calls it that, it is correct.
He got it.
It is the Open Championship.
It's not the Open Championship.
But Nick, you are the winner. Nice job.
Very
Stay
good, Nick.
right there.
Very
I thought I
good.
was going to slip some people up because the PGA Championship used to be the last one.
It would have slipped me up. I was going to guess the PGA.
You were going to say that. Now the PGA Championship is in May.
So,
And-
Nick, you're a winner either way. Because
Nice
I would have
job.
missed it, but you didn't give me a chance to miss it.
Nice job, Nick.
You got it.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, the British Open, this whole notion that we're supposed to call it the Open drives me crazy.
I love it.
Speaking of our golf tournament here in San Diego this weekend, the Genesis, Davis Thompson has the lead after 2 rounds. He's a 25-year-old golfer from the University of Georgia. He shot a 6 under today. That's a good day's work. Finished up with a couple of birdies there at the end to go to 8 under par. Scotty Scheffler is in second place at -7. Scheffler shot a 5 under today, Skrabe. 3 birdies, 1 eagle.
Yeah.
No bogeys.
He did it on the par 5-6, which goes to the right a little bit along the canyon. So he hit one down the middle, and then he hit his second shot like 240 into the bunker, and then he holed out from the bunker.
Rory McIlroy is in third at -5. So, I mean,
he made his way back from -3.
You could not ask for a better list of names. I mean, Davis Thompson, you don't know, but you got both Scheffler and McIlroy. That's a great weekend coming up for golf fans.
I'm into it.
Congratulations to Nick. He wins Chris versus the fans. And
I have a great topic for you on the other side, Chris. We're going to talk about
I'll be
chess.
the judge of that.
We're going to talk about chess.
Oh, this is a good topic. We discussed this already. This is a fun topic. I'm looking forward to it.
Chess, everybody.
How can chess be a worthwhile topic?
I'll tell you.
All right, after traffic.
From the 855.
Of Mediterranean food, Spiros. Authentic Mediterranean cuisine, Coronado or La Jolla. For dining or takeout options, spiroscuisine.com. Chris Ella, Matt Skraby today. Tony Gwynn Jr. will be back No, he won't. Let's not tell him. Maybe he'll come back Monday by accident.
You know, I've thought about this, Chris. Like, does
you
he
think it's
know?
a possibility?
Does he know? Because
he may not know.
He has texted us in the past on days that we have off, and he thinks we're working that day.
It's happened.
Mostly during the season when he doesn't really know what day it is
Tony's a pretty funny guy.
He is. He's very. That's a good way of putting it.
All right, 4:19 is the time.
Yes.
All right. Skraby brought this up to me earlier, and I'm like, But apparently there's a movement out there to try to make chess a little more exciting. First of all, I think chess is an amazing game. I don't have time to play it much, nor do I have really an opponent that I could play. I have played against the computer. Don't get any higher than the first or second level. You know, I've never really worked that hard on it.
We still need to do a thing where we play one chess game and I video it.
But I think it's a great. It's not a sport.
Okay, so this is a whole different conversation.
I know. I was going to say it's a great sport. It's a great. It's a great activity. I mean, look, you got to come up with this stuff. Do you know the number one player in the world is only 34 years old?
Yeah, Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah. And he's been the number one player in the world for 13 years.
Yeah.
So he became number one when he was 21 years old.
He's a genius.
I guess.
A chess genius,
That is incredible.
Yeah.
When he was 13 years old, he defeated Garry Kasparov.
Oh, I remember that match like it was yesterday.
I know, me too. It was on ESPN The Ocho.
It wasn't even on the Ocho. It was on like the Vente.
Anyway, he beat Kasparov, who was the greatest player to that time in the history of chess.
Mm-hmm.
He was 13 years old and he beat him.
That's crazy.
So, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is how can we make chess something that would be fun to watch? And you've intrigued me because I don't know what you could do.
Because Magnus Carlsen, the best chess player in the world, is over the way that chess is played now in the professional format.
Stodgy.
It's a little bit like golf in the way that you have to wear certain things. You can't yell or cheer. You have to show decorum.
Got it.
But
You can't show up in shorts and a sweatshirt and play in the chess tournament.
But why not? Like, Magnus Carlsen's saying that. He was penalized because he showed up to a chess tournament in jeans. The best player in the world getting penalized for showing up in jeans. So he's over it. He doesn't want to do this anymore. He wants to start something new with some of the other chess people around the world.
The cool chess
chess guys. Yeah.
The CCA?
Yeah, the CCA, the Cool Chess Association.
Yeah. Okay.
And here's how he wants to do it. Because he even is... Like, he said the word he's bored during watching chess matches and stuff like that.
For him, it's like,
it's easy.
He probably doesn't have to pay too close attention to win these matches.
So what he wants to do is he wants to change some of the way that they start the match, which is take all of the back pieces, meaning the rooks and the knights and the queen and the king and the bishop, and put them randomly all over the board for everybody so that you can't come into a match knowing
a preconceived idea?
Strategy and plan. And he says better chess players will show themselves because they will be able to figure out how to win and not have this whole plan in their head the entire time.
So these pieces are just going to be at rant.
They're going to pick them
really outside the box thinking.
It is. And he's making it better for TV, but they're going to take each player before their game and they're
Wait
going
a second,
to...
how is that better for TV though?
Because it
it's still
creates
sitting
something
there
different,
staring at a board for 6 hours.
They're already in the middle of the game because all the pieces are moved.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he suggested that. He also suggested that he wants to make it faster paced with, like, they specifically mentioned what baseball did with the pitch clock. I know that they already do time, but I think time in chess, Chris, is you have a certain amount of time to complete your moves in total, right?
Right, I'm
it's
sure.
It's not like one turn. You
Right,
have
each
30
move
seconds.
is not timed. It's the entire, okay.
So he wants to maybe put a pitch clock type thing in there. He also wants to add interviews during a match. So when you make a move, you go into this room and you interview while the other player's making a move, and you tell them why you made that move.
Okay, that would be somewhat interesting,
He wants to
especially
do
for people that know the game.
Heart rate monitors to see when players are getting stressed.
Well,
and he wants you to be able to wear jeans.
I got to tell you one thing. The only thing I would include that he did not mention is some sort of lighted board, with a big screen where everything's, with the newfangled lighting, and it, there's a square around the piece that's moved, and all of the possibilities like that. Use that kind of visual.
Visual is what I think they need.
Anyway,
I'm into this. I'm all for the Cool Chess League.
It's pretty cool, but there's no way.
I'm not going to watch
There's
it
no way
religiously.
I'm watching a chess match.
I'm
I
going
can't do it.
I'm going to. Because if they do this thing where they just jumble all the pieces and throw them on the board, I think that's interesting. Like, how is someone going to figure that out?
Sounds like Magnus Carlsen is doing something that only he could do.
That might be true.
As the number one player for the last 13 years.
Yeah, that might be true. But did you know that chess has never been this popular ever? Worldwide?
It's big time now. Huh?
Popularity has skyrocketed, mostly because of the pandemic.
Well, that was something you could do, yeah.
But that's my
I
chess
say
thing.
chess is an interesting game. And have you played or have you not?
Oh, yeah, I love chess.
Yeah, I got to say that I don't love it. But because it's not Monopoly. Like, Monopoly used to be a fun board game, but it always gets old before the game's over. Right? Do you ever get to the end of a Monopoly game? You really never do.
You want to know what game?
You get tired of it.
What activity that I give up after 30 minutes every time? Poker. I'm not going to sit at a poker table for 5 hours and play poker.
You would if you were winning consistently.
I don't care. I just go all in at one point.
You find it boring.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
can't
you're talking about, you're not talking about dealer's choice where people move
Hold'em
around.
poker.
You're talking about Hold'em. Yeah, that can get a little tedious as well.
And when you're doing it at someone's house,
chess
it's
is
like
another thing. How do you go over to somebody? How do you call somebody and go, "Hey, let's play a little chess tonight"? It may take all night. It may not.
Any board game can take all night. Monopoly goes forever.
No, I'm not playing Monopoly.
Have you ever played Risk?
I don't know that I can compare Monopoly to chess.
Have you ever played Risk?
Yes, but it's too long also.
But they have a new game where they have made rules so you can speed it up.
In this world, we are about short, quick snippets.
That is true.
So I am a little surprised that chess has become this popular, unless you're playing more of a rapid match where you have like a minute to make your move.
I'm not sitting there for 5 minutes thinking about every single move. I'm just moving my piece and being.
I think you got to go, One of my strategies in chess is to start trading pieces early. Get a lot of stuff off the board so I can see better.
Chris,
that's one of my strategies.
Well, how do you accomplish that?
Well, you force somebody to make a trade. Like they don't have a choice.
What, you say, I'll give you your two bishops
but you
or
put
two rooks?
you put your rook in a position where if they don't take your rook, they're going to get nothing.
And like it.
Yeah, so they take yours, you take theirs. Now you've made an exchange. I always like that.
Jacob makes a good point that it was mentioned in the article that Queen's Gambit helped raise the
Queen's
profile
Gambit
of chess.
helped it a little bit?
That show. I love that show.
It was a good show. I really like the game of chess. I really do. I think it's amazing. It's one of the oldest games in the history of history. But you know what? Give this guy, Magnus Carlsen, his due. He's 34 years old. He's the number one guy in a sport that is played worldwide, but is not known to the general public. And he's trying to figure something out, which is nearly impossible to do.
Which is find eyeballs for chess?
Make chess interesting to watch.
I would rather...
And if nothing else, he's at least coming up with some things. A lot of people would sit there and go, we really need to make chess a little more exciting. But they wouldn't have anything to back that up.
Yeah.
He is at least thinking of things.
I don't even think he's thinking about it. I think he's making it happen. Like, he's going to try and start this league.
The CCA.
Oh, by the way, you were the bearer of misinformation. Our guy Adam Paul on the chat.
What'd I say?
You said that Carlsen He didn't beat Kasparov. They finished in a draw.
When he was 13?
I guess.
I can't argue.
Adam Paul's our best fact checker on the chat.
Whatever. I can't. I'm reading it right off of. Do you think I knew that? I was reading it off of a bio.
No, I don't think you knew that. Yeah.
Reading it off of a bio, so thank you. All right, timeout on the floor, and then Big Five. And we're probably not going to have any more chess talk.
Ben and Woods.
Welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. Mr. Ello here. Mr. Skraby there. Before we get to the Big Five, a little shout out. You know, we like to shout out these kids out there. Apparently, the San Diego State women's softball team has something going this year, Skrabe. Earlier in the year, they lost in extra innings to Oklahoma, which is like been the champion every time. Yeah. So that kind of lets you know that maybe they, have a decent squad. They were 3-2 coming into action today in Clearwater, Florida. They're in a tournament down there. Earlier today, they beat 12th-ranked Alabama, and just now they knocked off Wake Forest. Grace Uribe had the game winner.
Nice. For
the Aztec women's softball team, so now 5-2 on the year. But you
are you going to cry because they beat Alabama?
No kidding.
We
Alabama,
need some tears.
That's big.
We need some tears of
Beating
joy.
Alabama in any sport is a good thing for San Diego State.
Yes.
I'm happy to see that. So, yeah, keep a little eye on that team. They might have something. Stacy Newman, the head coach there, is Olympic hero back in the day, and she's taken over and done a good job. The Aztec softball program. The Aztec baseball team, I believe, opens up play tonight.
Is that right?
I think so. While I'm here, I might as well check that. I'm assuming if they start, probably USD is starting as well.
I think they start.
The Aztec baseball team season begins in 23 minutes.
Oh, wow.
They'll be taking on Seton Hall in Scottsdale, Arizona, and apparently the game is on MLB.com TV.
Oh. Do you want to watch that, Chris?
That's MLB, not the network. It's on MLB.com.
USD is playing tonight at 6 p.m. against number 23 TCU.
Oh. Is Braden calling that game?
I think so. Oh, you know what? We
He's
did
gonna
talk
lose
about
his
this the
mind.
other day.
Braden has to call a TCU USD baseball game. He won't know what to do.
He better call it down the middle.
No, he better not call it down the middle. He's being paid by USD.
That is true.
Don't be calling it down the middle, Braden. But we know what a TCU fanatic he is.
He's just going to hold up his frog hand.
It's going to be weird, man.
That is going to be
for Braden.
Weird. That is going to be weird.
Especially when the Toreros beat his Horned Frogs
tonight.
Handily, and he has to call the game.
Be like,
I got to tune into that somehow.
USD won again.
I imagine it'll be on USD.
It's on ESPN Plus.
Really?
Yeah.
The
USD versus TCU.
6 o'clock
6
from
p.m.
Fowler Park.
From Fowler Park.
I got a better idea.
What? Oh,
everybody
go
scrap
there?
what you're doing tonight and get on down and go say hi to Braden. Calling the TCU USD baseball. That's a good game.
Yeah.
Good game.
That is a good game.
All right. We like to root for those kids. We'll check traffic and then go to the Big Five.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring. What a difference from yesterday. Yeah, we're dealing with mostly dry roads all around the county and really very few incidents or accidents. Not a whole lot of slowing either. In the North County, we do have reports of a collision on the Rainbow Valley on-ramp to northbound 15. Couple vehicles over to the left shoulder. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, the baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro.
Can you mention what, was it Rob?
Rod said this in the chat, which is hilarious.
It's a funny line.
He said, Oh, yeah, LO. The wife will be really happy to go to a game today. Chris and I haven't even mentioned once today that it is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
One of my least favorite days of the year.
Sorry,
Singles
Skraby.
Awareness Day for people like me.
Singles Awareness Day, SAD. See, that
Yes.
stands for SAD.
Sad. Well,
Singles Awareness Day.
you know what I titled my Skraby
Sad.
show for tonight, Chris?
What?
I titled it because you guys were so nice in calling me Lonely Boy a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I titled my Skraby show The Lonely Boys Valentine's Day Spectacular.
Have fun with that. It starts at 6 o'clock. Yes, happy Valentine's Day to all of those Valentines out there.
Yes.
But that's a good point, Rod. I doubt too many wives are going to be in the mood for college baseball as their Friday night Valentine's night out.
Not our listeners. Our listeners would be all about it. I can think of listeners right now that would be all about it. But I know what you're saying. I think there's other things going on tonight.
Number 5.
All right, MLB Network, Chris, has... actually, let me start with this real quick. We were just talking about chess. They have the NBA Celebrity All-Star Basketball game. T.O. is playing. Your hand is in the air.
There's a mascot on the floor playing in the game.
Yes, there is.
Okay, they've actually lost their minds.
I think it's hilarious. But would you rather watch chess or this?
Chess.
Okay, thank you.
There's actually a mascot in full getup out there playing in this game.
It's actually hilarious. Oh, the mascot's going off the floor
not
now.
Hilarious. It's stupid.
I forgot this game was in San Francisco.
Go ahead.
I mean, what is happening? Okay, I can't. I'm distracted in a million different directions today. MLB Network has finished putting out their list of the top 100 MLB players, and to no surprise, Shohei Ohtani is listed at number 1, Chris.
Okay.
However, there is a growing portion of MLB media that has an issue with where they ranked Mike Trout. Now, they think it's blasphemous that Mike Trout is the number 39 ranked best player in baseball coming into this year. I actually think if you take last year and use it for guidance, 39 might be the right spot. But Chris, do you think it's blasphemous Mike Trout is number 39?
Only because he's been rated as the greatest player ever to lace up the sneakers.
I think that's died a little bit.
And I never agreed with that.
I know.
As much as as good as I think he is, I've never completely fallen. I mean, the guy's already won 3 MVPs, Rookie of the Year, been an all-star basically every year he's ever played except for last season. 39, though, the last 2 seasons, 10 home runs, 18 home runs. It's not Mike Trout of the 40, 45, 39. Yeah, I think 39's about right. I mean, it's right now.
Yeah.
You don't get your whole career put in there.
No, it's right now.
It's right now. I mean, he's not young any longer. He's 33 years old. I agree.
All right. I do too. He just can't stay healthy. If he can't stay healthy, then he's not going to be able to do anything for the team. But if he does stay healthy this year, he could easily be a top 10 player by the end of the year.
3 of his last 4 years, he's had major injury issues.
Yeah.
So and he's made the All-Star team 2 of those years anyway. But
well, that might be a fan vote or something.
36 games, 119, 82, and last year 29. Yeah, he can't be much higher.
All right.
Number 4.
Travis Kelce's playing future is one of the NFL's top offseason storylines, at least for the next month or so, because the Chiefs have reportedly given him until March 14th to decide whether or not he's going to play next season. The Athletic reports Kelce is going to turn 36 this year. He has 1 season remaining on his contract, but he's actually due a $12.5 million roster bonus on March 15th, which was why they want the decision by March 14th. I'm up first. Is it fair to put a deadline on him? I think there's a couple guys that you can't put a deadline on to decide. Aaron Rodgers just runs with that anyway. But Travis Kelce doesn't seem like a guy who's going to hold a team hostage on whether or not he's going to play next year. Is it fair to put a deadline on him? I think it is, because you don't want to have to pay money that you're not going to actually be getting the services of Travis Kelce.
Wait a second.
For.
He makes $15 million if he's on the roster March 15th?
Correct.
Well, why in God's name would he make the decision before that then?
Well, because they need to know whether or not he's going to play next year.
Never mind what they need. If he's on the roster March 15th, they're giving him $15 million.
I think they could probably...
They're going to revoke the money if he retires?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. But,
I will say this.
They're giving him an ultimatum.
I know. Well, they want him to decide. But I wouldn't decide if I were him. Here's the thing with Travis Kelce. I'm seeing a ton of stuff. The last...
Should he retire?
No, not that. How long ago was the Super Bowl? Last Sunday?
Yeah.
The last 4 days has been a destroy Travis Kelce mission by people out there. They keep showing him missing a block, being a little lazy, not running down the field.
Eye in the sky doesn't lie.
Yeah, let's tear apart.
I saw those blocks too.
He missed a block.
He missed a couple blocks that ended up getting his quarterback sacked.
Let's tear apart one of the greatest tight ends of all time.
That's what we do.
I think that the shade that he's getting is a little much.
I do too. But
he didn't have a great game in the Super Bowl, but he's pretty much been legit playoff performer in his career, would you not say?
Yeah, he passed Jerry Rice in a bunch of things. You don't pass Jerry Rice unless you're a legend.
I'm thinking Jerry might have missed a block or two as well.
I don't think it mattered if Jerry missed a block. He wasn't supposed to chip the tight end or the defensive end coming down, Chris.
Well, they ran a few sweeps in Jerry's direction, I'm sure.
Oh, and Jerry was all over it. Jerry was a hard worker.
Number 3.
We may have a little indication about what position Travis Hunter is going to play in the NFL after it was announced he's going to be entering the NFL Combine later this month as a defensive back, Chris.
Yeah.
So do you think that's the best way to go for him?
Yeah, I do. I think size-wise, he doesn't project to me to be a sensational NFL receiver. You used to be able to be Mark Clayton or Mark Duper or...
Oh, yeah, Mark Duper.
Well, you don't remember him.
No, I've never heard of Mark Duper.
Well, Duper and Clayton were the superstar receivers for Dan Marino, and they were both about 5'2". I mean, that was the thing that was incredible, that Marino could get the ball to these guys anyway.
That is true.
Receivers are not that tall anymore. I mean, they're not that small anymore.
True.
A.J. Brown. I mean, you got to have a little more size than Travis Hunter does to be a successful receiver.
Yeah.
So I think he's making the right move, yes.
I heard a whole
But he could also run a few plays at receiver.
Guarantee
once he makes
they have
the team.
him. They have him do some offensive stuff every once in a while. I saw a really interesting discussion about him and what he's better at, and they were saying if you want to make more money, be a wide receiver. You'll probably make more money there. If you want a long career where you're actually good, be a defensive back. So I think he's following in the right. He's going in the right direction, and Dion also was a defensive back. He could tell him, hey, you're probably going to be better in the league at defensive back than wide receiver. So
I don't know that Dion has as much to do with it as you might think. Travis Hunter's 6'1", so he's not as tiny as Clayton and Duper, but he still doesn't factor in my mind from the eye test. I see him more as a DB.
I would love to see him as a safety, just maybe even a corner. But anyway, that's what he's going to do.
Number 2.
We may finally be getting the race I guess we all asked for, Chris. It's being reported your guy Tyreek Hill and American sprinter Noah Lyles are going to race. And basing this off of previous comments of Noah Lyles, 60 meters is going to be the distance. Did you know that 60-meter dash is a thing?
Yes. Indoors, it used to be a big deal.
I did not know, but I guess Noah Lyles does a 60-meter thing. I'm up first. Are you
The reason that 60 meters was big in the indoor world is because
they didn't have enough room?
Didn't have more room, yeah.
Am I interested in this?
Noah Lyles was the guy who won the gold medal this year.
Oh, yeah, he's
in one of the
great.
greatest races in the history of sprinting.
Yeah.
So just for people who don't know who he is.
Oh, no, totally. This has been going on for a while, but...
He's the reigning Olympic champion. Tyreek Hill says he's the fastest person on earth, so they're going to race.
I am not into this at all. I think that I'm out on Tyreek Hill for good now.
For good?
Yeah. I didn't like how he left your team at the end of the year and then is like, oh, hey, sorry,
we all
everybody.
knew that it was a bunch of bull.
Sorry, everybody. I just trashed all of you. But...
Absolutely nobody took anything Tyreek said seriously because he's not to be taken seriously.
Yeah, I'm not interested in this at all. Are you?
Not really. My best guess is that Tyreek will strain a muscle, and that'll be it for the first 6 months of the season. That's how things usually work out for the Dolphins. So
if Tyreek loses, he's gonna make excuses about something.
I would like to see Tyreek Hill concentrate on returning to any kind of form close to what he used to be, because he went from one of the most unstoppable weapons in football to an absolute nothing last year. So this race means nothing to me.
Yeah, it's a little
personally.
It's a couple years too late. It's like the Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor fight, just too late in time. Or Pacquiao, that's what I meant, not Conor McGregor. What are we on now? Number
1.
On Thursday, this is another NFL Combine topic. On Thursday, the NFL released the names of all the prospects, and the usual suspects are there. Miami's Cam Ward. We already talked about Colorado's Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. Penn State's Abdul Carter. Boise State's Ashton Genty are among some of those being invited. One player who will not be in attendance is Colorado safety Shiloh Sanders. He was not invited to the Combine.
Colorado, not Colorado State.
I said Colorado safety.
Oh, safety. Oh, Shiloh Sanders, not Shedeur.
No, Shedeur's been invited. Shiloh
had 0 interceptions last year. I don't want to underrate the guy, but it's not like he did a whole lot.
Did you know that he's 25? He's a lot older than I thought he was. No. But he played 19 games in 2 seasons with the Buffaloes, and he had 122 total tackles and 1 interception in his career.
Must have
with
been
the
last
Buffaloes.
year. It wasn't this year.
Here's a totally Skraby question, Chris, but why doesn't Dion push for the success of Shiloh like he does for Shedeur?
So he's got a money maker and he's got a maybe maker.
There it is.
Number 1. Number 2, you don't know for sure that he's not supporting his other son just as much.
I see him on all the news saying Shedeur needs to go number 1, and no one ever asked about Shiloh.
Shiloh's not in competition to go number 1.
I think Shedeur being in competition to be number 1 is because Dion talks about it so much.
You know who I would take number 1? And this is off the top of my, because I'm a terrible judge of talent. I would take Abdul Carter, Penn State. He's a game wrecker.
Game wreckers are good.
I think he is.
You know the last game wrecker that was drafted? Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter is a game wrecker, but he's a dope.
I think he's grown up a little bit.
I hope so. He couldn't go a lot lower.
I wish Dion would love Shiloh as much as he loves Shedeur.
All right. Well, I don't know. Ask your parents. They probably liked your brother more than you.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? If I asked them who the favorite kid was, they would say, "Oh, we don't have a favorite kid." But I was an alcoholic that made their life a living. You know what?
Yes,
for
it was easy
years.
to vote for your brother on that one.
No, it's my sister. She's the favorite.
Sister's the number 1.
Oh yeah, she's number 1 by far. By far, Chris.
You at least get a bronze medal in the family?
Now, because I've turned it around. Before, they were willing to let me go. So
back in the day, you had 2 siblings besides yourself.
Yeah, brother and a sister, and I'm the oldest.
Right. So back in the day, your parents would have given out a gold and a silver. You would not have even been in the running for a bronze.
Oh, you're still alive? That's enough of an award. Because, yeah,
it was not great.
It wasn't great. There was a period of time where my family did not want me
You've
around.
improved matters dramatically, and we're proud of you for that.
Yes, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know that he doesn't love Shiloh as
I'm
much.
joking.
Shedeur is the moneymaker, though.
Shedeur is the moneymaker. He's the quarterback too.
He's the quarterback. Does anybody out there think Shedeur Sanders, other than Dion? Does anybody really think Shedeur is the guy that's going to go take over the Giants or somebody and lead them to something great? I didn't see it in college.
I didn't see it in college.
I saw it once in a while, but not enough to convince me.
Yeah, I don't know about it either. There was a stat that I read earlier today that he holds on to the ball longer than anyone in college football. He had over 2 seasons. He had the most sacks, or he was sacked the most of all the quarterbacks in college football.
Get him with Kellen Moore.
Oh,
Kellen will.
I also don't like this
him.
whole thing where Dion's like kind of going to manipulate where he goes.
How is he going to do that?
I don't know, because he keeps talking about how Shedeur is not going to just go play for any team. He's going to play for the right team. Okay. I love Dion. the player.
You really don't like
I
Deion.
love Prime
You
Time.
don't like him.
I don't love Coach Prime.
You don't.
I love Prime Time, not Coach Prime.
Happy hours next. Happy to kick off the happy hour. Crisello, Matt Skraby together, Odyssey Palace Studios. Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan. Tony is idle. He'll be back on Tuesday when we reconvene after the 3-day weekend. The golf is over for the day out there at Torrey Pines. The Genesis, 2 rounds in, and the leader. Well, actually, the biggest news is who's in second and who's in third. That's what people are going to pay attention to. Scotty Scheffler is in second, and Rory McIlroy is in third. But they're chasing Denny, Thompson, David, and update, Scrape. Sorry,
what?
Rory's fallen to fourth.
What did
Some other guy slipped ahead of him.
What the heck?
No, it's not Rory. He didn't fall. The other guy
Denny
passed
McCarthy.
him. Yeah. So it's unknown Davis Thompson, then it's Scotty Scheffler, then it's unknown Denny McCarthy, then it's Rory.
Rory's going to win a major this year.
Rory's won. He won last week.
2 weeks ago.
Pebble Beach.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Are you sure that was 2 weeks ago?
Yep, Waste Management.
Oh,
was
Waste
last week.
Management last week.
Don't you ever question my schedule.
Your golf intellect?
Yes, thank you.
You're pretty good on golf.
On golf.
I'm going to say the thing that surprised me the most when I played golf with you, and you and I have played what, once or twice?
Maybe 3 times.
3? Here's the thing that surprised me the most. Oh, that's right. We played in the Aztec alumni as well.
Yes.
The thing that surprised me the most about you playing golf with you is that you don't act like a know-it-all out on the course.
Of course not.
I appreciate that. You're kind of a know-it-all here in the studio.
Yes.
But when we get out there, you're a pleasant guy to play with, and you're helpful.
Yeah.
And you're appreciative of, a shot I might make.
Of course.
Or that somebody else might make. So you're a good guy to play with is what I'm saying.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Because a lot of people, they're know-it-alls, and then they get out there, and then they think they know it all. And,
Chris, there is
it's like
nothing worse than when a guy I'm paired up with randomly starts giving me tips throughout the round.
Yeah.
Because, hey, guy, I didn't ask for your tips.
No matter how good you are, you don't want to hear that.
I don't need your tips. I'm just here to play. Right. I'm not playing on the PGA Tour. I'm not going pro anytime soon. But there's specifically this one guy, like 5 years ago, that on every shot I hit was like, well, if you would have gotten your shoulder a little bit more open. I'm like, stop. I don't know you. Why are you telling me
If you
this?
even told me that I need to get my shoulder more open, I wouldn't even know what that meant.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't even get it.
Yeah, it was not fun.
No, you're a fun guy to play with.
Thank you.
And you know what? You're good, but you're not annoyingly good.
I'm not a guy who will hit every shot great.
Right.
And so I will maybe have like 3 good holes, and then I'll have a blow-up
Because
hole.
when we played Jack Townsend of the Aztec golf team, I expected him to be, like on point with everything. And he was. He was incredible. But when I play with just a guy, a guy or a gal, I don't expect them to be, knocking shots in all over the course. And you don't. You're good enough. You're good, but you're not annoyingly good.
Yeah, I'm like an 85 to 92 guy.
All right.
One time I went to play at Torrey North before they redesigned it, and we got paired up with these 2 women that were probably, I'm not being ageist, probably 70s. And so my friend and I were like, great, this is going to be so slow. This is going to be terrible. They were incredible, Chris.
Really?
And I feel embarrassed about this because I said, "Oh, you guys playing the forward tees?" Because I think ladies tees is kind of insulting.
Forward tees.
Forward tees, and they go,
have to use that one of these days.
Oh no, we're gonna be playing the tees that you guys are playing. What tees are you guys playing? Okay, why? And then they just crushed us. Just absolutely crushed us. They were. I wouldn't be surprised if they were pros from the past.
Yeah.
They were so good.
They must have been.
They were so good.
Baseball. We gave you the Padres stuff. Connor Joe, Jason Heyward met with media today. You're going to hear, what are we going to play later? We're going to play AJ?
AJ.
Yeah, AJ Cassavell was at Peoria today with a great report on the Padres. So you'll get that coming up in just a little bit. But as bad as the offseason was in the minds of Padre fans, and it got considerably better because of the Nick Pivetta signing,
Yes.
which we went over yesterday, certainly has the potential to be an excellent signing, but I need to see a little better than a 4.76 ERA.
I think we're all too focused on the ERA.
We shouldn't be. ERA, even though it's not analytically correct, still is a judgment of how many runs you give up.
Yeah, I know.
I know he's got the great stuff. I know he's got the whiff rate. I know he's got the spin thing and the BABIP and whatever you can tell me. But he does give up runs. That's his career. It shows it.
Can you tell us all the stat that you said yesterday about 3 or less?
20 out of 27 appearances last year, 3 or fewer runs. That was good.
Yeah, won't you think that that's the guy we're getting?
Yeah, that's good.
Every pitcher's going to have their 6 or 7 run game.
Despite the fact, though, that Pivetta has been signed, it's still in the minds of many been not the best of off seasons, except for the people who are in the wagering world. Where do you think, and these are odds according to ESPN Bet,
Okay.
where do you think the Padres rank in terms of over-under victories this season? For example, we know the Dodgers are number 1. Their over-under number on ESPN Bet is 102.5. So they'd have to win 103 games for you to win the bet.
Mm-hmm.
How many more teams are ahead of the Padres, would you say?
How many more teams are ahead? I would say 7.
Right. I would too. Here are the teams that are ahead of the Padres. Dodgers, Yankees 93.5, Braves 93.5. Think about that, by the way. Dodgers 102, Yankees 93.
Yeah.
That's a massive gap between number 1 and number 2.
That is.
Dodgers, Yankees, Braves. Mets 91.5, Phillies 91.5. Padres. That's it.
88.5?
89.5. There's
They're
only
they're-
five
wow.
teams that they say are going to win more games based on those odds than the Padres. That's a pretty high ranking for a team that has had a miserable offseason in the minds of people. They're still legit one of the tip-top teams in baseball, according to the odds.
Which is why we keep reminding, and I keep reminding myself, that the core is still there. That has not changed.
Right? Padres are 89.5. The other team at 89.5 is the Orioles.
Who's on the lowest on the list?
Take a wild guess.
It can't be the A's. Maybe the Marlins or the Rockies. Really? Who's worse than that? The White Sox.
Marlins are 63.5. Rockies are checking in at 60.5. And you got to be an idiot if you think they're going to win 60. But the White Sox are at 50.5, which for them would be a 10-game improvement.
Well, good job, Will Venable.
Yeah, good luck, Will. We got to check in with Will, man, after a couple months of the season, if we can. Like when they're, when they're 9-41, we'll see how he's doing.
Don't say that. I don't want that for Will. I don't care if the White Sox win some games in the AL Central.
By the way, one thing that's going to bother me all year, and I already know it. It's already bothering me now, and it's going to bother me all year. When the Pirates play the Cardinals, it'll be Pittsburgh at St. Louis. Reds, Giants, Cincinnati at San Francisco, right?
Okay.
When the Athletics play the Rockies, it'll be Athletics at Colorado.
Well, didn't you know that the A's are such a good team that they don't need a city anymore?
I understand, but you know what? You got to have a place. I don't like that they're just the Athletics. This just is going to confuse. It's going to give me issues.
I don't know why. You shouldn't.
Why
Remember
are
when you
they
said
not-
you care about things that
Why-
you shouldn't care about? This is one of those things.
That's on the list. Why shouldn't they be the Las Vegas Athletics or the Sacramento Athletics?
No, they should be the SAC Athletics.
Sacramento something?
You
They're
get it?
playing in Sacramento, are they not?
They are. They could be the SAC.
Or at least they could be Las Vegas. They're going to be the Las Vegas Athletics. They're waiting to
Well,
move.
they're not there yet, so they
But
should be the Sacramento Athletics.
Don't be the Athletics. First of all, you're not good enough to go by one name.
Exactly.
So it's going to bother me all year. Like when the Padres are introducing the homestand. Coming into San Diego will be Texas, Seattle, and the Athletics.
I hope
Why
that
are they special?
I hope that they say Sacramento Athletics.
It doesn't.
I know it doesn't.
Everywhere I've seen just says Athletics.
The brand guidelines state from the A's you cannot use a city name. They don't have a city, but they do have a city.
Who's giving that directive?
The A's branding department.
And baseball, we just have to go for it?
Well, John Fisher was named to the executive committee, Chris. He can do whatever he wants.
I mean, when I see the standings come out in spring training in a week and a half, and it says Cleveland first place, Minnesota second place, Athletics.
I don't know.
It's going to throw me off.
So, what if it was the Athens team? Athens Athletics, ATH.
Whatever. They should be a city name team. And they're not.
All right. I have a comment from the chat, and I agree. Andy says about the Padres, if the core stays healthy, it's among the best in baseball, in my opinion, which I don't disagree with. Also, Brutus fan said that the Padres defense is going to cut Nick Pavetta's ERA in half.
Whoa.
Well, I think
with all due respect, Brutus, that would get you down to 2.37.
I think Brutus is just
that's low.
If he goes 3 point, okay, he finishes the year with a 3.9 ERA. Are you happy, Chris?
Sure, I would.
But that's not much different. What is his career? 4.7. That is
4.76.
different. That is different. I don't know.
But half of that is 2.33. Brutus, if you're right, we'll send you a. We'll send you a T-shirt.
What T-shirt are we sending?
A Skraby Chronicles T-shirt. Don't you have a few of those left over?
No, I don't have any more.
Oh, no, we'll have to order some more.
Okay.
Timeout on the field. Traffic check is coming. And more stuff that bothers me.
Oh, great.
That probably wouldn't bother anybody else.
Oh, great.
From the
these things. It even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here. Don't hit it here.
Skraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. Fourth hole. Nice smooth delivery. Hit it too hard.
Sasquatch.
So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not used to complimentary to you, but can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
these things. It even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here. Don't hit it here.
Skraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. Fourth hole. Nice smooth delivery. Hit it too hard.
Sasquatch. So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
These things. It even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here. Don't hit it here.
Skraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. Fourth hole. Nice smooth delivery. Hit it too hard.
Sasquatch. So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
These things. It even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here. Don't hit it here.
Skraby from about.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we're going to announce today's biggest fan. If you are the biggest fan, you'll have 10 minutes to call back in. And when you do that, you'll qualify for a night in the Odyssey Suite at a future Padres game. Register your name to have a chance to win that prize. Go to 973thefansd.com/biggest-fan. Cassavell, Matt Skraby, Gwynn and Chris. Skraby gives me the heave-ho here at 6 o'clock. And then it's all about the Skraby Chronicles from 6 to 7. And for some reason, that is when all the news happens.
It did the other night.
I do find it interesting that you keep claiming that you broke the story.
No, I did not say
Nick
that.
Pivetta.
I did not say that. I said breaking news happened on the Skraby Show.
When AJ Cassavell was on earlier, an interview the rest of you will hear shortly, not this shortly, but soon. You said, oh, yeah, I was on the air to break the story. You made it sound like you were the one that came up with it.
Okay, well, then you were taking me too literally.
I think you were trying to make yourself.
I mean,
sound cool.
should I show you the text from Nick Pivetta that he sent me right before he signed?
Yes, I'd like to see that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go get my other phone, Chris.
Somebody ought to tell Cam Newton to shut the hell up.
I don't want to talk about him.
You know, he went out and he called everybody a bunch of losers on the original Panthers team.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has his podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that, oh, when did we become so sensitive?
Where's he been?
A locker room full of losers? It's aggressive, but it's true. It's not true. Steven Smith was on that team. Steve Smith is far from a loser. One of the best receivers in NFL history, as a matter of fact. You know, people became sensitive, Cam, when you say crappy stuff about them in public to make them look bad. Just like stuff like this. Get a new wardrobe because you look bad.
Well, I think he doesn't care.
I don't believe he'd get sensitive to that.
About that. That would be like us.
I'm tired.
That would be
with
like
Cam
us.
Newton,
That would be like me finding another job and just being like, yeah, the last radio station I was on was full of a bunch of losers.
You know,
like, that would be really aggressive.
Here's the thing about Cam Newton. It's not an attack by me on Cam Newton. It's more of an attack by me on people in our media, sports media mostly, but people that are in our media that just say stuff that's stupid and over the top, hoping to get a reaction. And once they get the reaction, then double down because they know they've hit a nerve. And I don't even know that Cam Newton believes it that much, but people took notice of what he said, so he's going to pile on. That's what I don't like. I don't care for that. I don't care for people that are looking for clicks only.
Well, no, I
dislike it immensely.
I do not think that he's doing this for clicks. I think he
so.
fully 100% believes his take.
Are you kidding me? Somebody that dresses like Cam Newton doesn't want attention?
He wants attention,
give
but
me a
I don't
break.
think
Why
that
does
he's
he dress that way? Because he wants everybody to look at it and go, whoa, what's he wearing now?
I don't think he is saying these things because he wants the attention just for that. I think he fully believes these things. And that's why I said the other day, I got to give Cam credit because he says things and has takes that none of us have. And so that's why he's different. I don't agree with them, but I do believe he believes
Skraby,
in
if you're going to just say a bunch of stupid stuff, how are you going to give somebody credit because it's different?
Because it forces me to think a different way. Like the whole MVP thing, we had Greg Camarillo in here when you were traveling one day. We asked him about, would you rather have a Super Bowl championship or an MVP? At first, everybody recoils like, oh, that's the most selfish thing to say MVP. But in the end, when you really think about it, a Super Bowl is an award or is something that many people win. An MVP, you were one of... How many seasons has the NFL? 60, 59. You're one of 59 guys that have won that award. It made me think.
You know what, Cam? You are a loser because you only care about yourself and not winning games. I'm not a fan. Sorry, Scrape. Get off my lawn.
I will not.
I can't buy into the Cam Newton way of thinking.
I'm not saying I buy into his way of thinking. I'm just
saying like you are.
I'm just saying that when he says things, I do think like, that is a different perspective, but still, I'd much rather win a Super Bowl than an MVP. Chris is, what is the word, apoplectic?
There's many people out there who have different perspectives. Because they're different doesn't mean they know what the hell they're talking about.
I never said that.
Every now and again, blind squirrel finds acorn.
But isn't that what
the rest of what people say is just basically stupid?
I'm happy that Cam doesn't sit there and be like, you know, some of the other guys out there that just, I'll use Emmanuel Ocho. Emmanuel Ocho just trashes Justin Herbert for calling him a social media quarterback and Then when he plays good, he doesn't stand by his word. But Cam trashes someone, he'll stand by it. You got to stand by it if you're going to say it.
According to ESPN Plus, the Padre, and I had to pay for this article, the Padre to watch in spring training, because they gave a player to watch in every spring training camp.
Okay.
Fernando was chosen for the Padres.
That's a what?
It says the Padres have continued to churn out highly talented shortstops in the wake of Tatis's emergence in the big leagues. One, Jackson Merrill, converted to center field, almost won Rookie of the Year. Another, Leo Dallas DeVries, is beginning his first stint in Major League camp at just 18. Time marches on, but let's not be so quick to move past Tatis. He's only 26, and there's a thought throughout the Padres that despite the success he has already enjoyed, Tatis has yet to tap into his true potential.
I agree with that.
A team source said, wonder who that was. Team source.
A Padres team source. Tony
TG
Gwynn
Jr.?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
No.
He's got loose lips.
A team source said, quote, if he can stay healthy or close to it all year, he could be an MVP.
That is a Tony Gwynn Jr. quote. I've heard him say that.
With all due respect, that's pretty much an anybody quote. We all feel that Fernando could be the guy.
Yes.
You know, if he puts it together and stays healthy. I mean, look at what he was doing in the playoffs last year when he just flipped the switch and started hitting line drives off the wall almost every time.
I know.
Love to see it.
I really hope he can figure out. I feel like this is the year that he's going to play a full season just because he knows he's been through a lot in his career of not playing. So I think he wants to and knows how to get through a season now, hopefully.
Who's the one player you're rooting most against this year in Major League Baseball?
I was going to say on the Padres, Major League person I'm cheering.
Giving you one
most.
player that you just have to root for them to do poorly every time. You know who it is. You're just not thinking of
Juan Soto?
Nah.
Shohei?
Juan Soto's not going to have he's on the
Mets.
Mets.
I know. Roki Sasaki.
Of course. Hope that he doesn't get out of the third inning in any of his first 16 starts.
I have a whole rant prepared for the Skraby show.
Sorry,
about...
Roki, we can't possibly cheer for you at this point.
Oh, no. I am going to lead the charge of booze the day he starts at Petco Park because I am annoyed by every part of that process.
Give me a little example of your...
Boo!
Whoa! Dang.
You stink, Roki!
You stink.
Should have chose the Padres, Roki!
That's the oldest one in the book. You stink!
I can't say what I would really want to say on the radio.
Yeah, Roki Sasaki. I mean, you got to root for the Padres to win. You got to root for Roki Sasaki to stink.
I'm going to.
I mean, it has to be.
There's
no other way to do it.
I have a rant prepared for the Skraby show later. Okay. I think I'm going to do it at 6:20, but MLB.com ranked Roki Sasaki the 100th best player in baseball before he's ever thrown a pitch. It's the Paul Skeens stuff. It's the Yamamoto stuff. Roki Sasaki has not thrown a pitch. And he's already better than someone else? Come on. Just threw my stuff.
He's throwing things. We got 19 seconds, so let's hang in there.
Oh, yeah. No, we got 4 seconds now.
Don't the Padres have anybody who hasn't played yet who could be on that list? Kyle Hart? We get him on the top 100?
Yeah, you know what, Chris? Might as well put him there because we have no idea what he's going to do.
Right. All right, here we go. Today's biggest fan announcement. Skraby, why don't you make it? Because I think I'm looking at the wrong page.
Oh, my gosh. Hold on.
No, I got it.
Okay.
I'm right. John Torres in Vista. John Torres, Torres. John, give us a call within the next 10 minutes. 833-288-0973. You, if you call, will be qualified for a grand prize. 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in the Odyssey Suite at the Padres game later this season. Remember, the rest of you, register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggestfan. John Torres, your 10 minutes starts now.
Brandon makes a good thing on the chat before we go to break. I mean, Jackson Merrill went from unranked last year to 24. Jackson Merrill should have been on the list last year, according to the MLB.com selection process.
He's never played. Let's put him in the top 100.
Oh, yeah. He's a Dodger. Let's put him in the top 100.
Right.
There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec Baseball Tournament. It's the SDSU Baseball Alumni Tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, Tony's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Skraby. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
We are league 10 now, and it's getting really windy. It's actually kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie, I know we're in San Diego, but we're 3 under as a group. We just got off the birdie, and I just hit my defense. There's a squirrel. He wants to attack me. Squirrely! We just got our second birdie of the day thanks to this guy.
Yeah, a 4-footer after.
It was a 5-footer.
After our pro drove it 300 to the front of the green and then chipped it within 5 feet.
Uh-oh.
Skraby, don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals. I do feed animals, but Chris made a birdie putt. Leaving the golf course. And we ended up shooting 63 once everything was accounted for, since it was a scramble and we had an SDSU golf player, Jack Townsend. He was with us and he did a lot for us. I think we shot 63 because of him, but we all had a good time. There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec Baseball Tournament. It's the SDSU Baseball Alumni Tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, Tony's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Skraby. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
We are league 10 now, and it's getting really windy. It's actually kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie, I know we're in San Diego, but we're 3 under as a group. We just got off the birdie, and I just hit my defense. There's a squirrel. He wants to attack me. Squirrely! We just got our second birdie of the day thanks to this guy.
Yeah, a 4-footer after.
It was a 5-footer.
After our pro drove it 300 to the front of the green and then chipped it within 5 feet.
Uh-oh.
Gravy, don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals. I do feed animals, but Chris made a birdie putt. Leaving the golf course. And we ended up shooting 63 once everything was accounted for, since it was a scramble, and we had an SDSU golf player, Jack Townsend. He was with us, and he did a lot for us. I think we shot 63 because of him. But we all had a good time. There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec Baseball Tournament. It's the SDSU Baseball Alumni Tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, Tony's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So. So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Skraby. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You've hit some.
We are.
Skraby, would you put this guy in the Hall of Fame? 356 career home runs, 1,144 RBIs, 294 career batting average. How about a career OPS? Career OPS of 920. That's a really good season. This guy has a 17-year career with a 920. He's won an MVP. He's won a Gold Glove. He's been in 6 All-Star games.
I know who you're talking about now.
I think you got to put Joey Votto in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Nolan Arenado.
I think Joey Votto's going to make it to the Hall of Fame. He has taken a detour, though, and today he signed a minor league contract with the White Sox.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about your last shot, right? That's it. Then you can't. If you don't make the White Sox, you got to go to El Paso. I mean, there's nowhere lower to go.
Oh, that is a bummer. I mean, when you get to that point, I
didn't realize Joey Votto was so good. I knew he was good. Those are pretty impressive. The 920 career OPS, because he walked a million times.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. His on-base percentage is crazy high.
Yeah, he walked a million times. But 920 OPS is going to have to be pretty widely considered for, Cooperstown stuff.
When I was living there in 2010, it was like, do you have his stats in front of you?
2010 stats?
Yeah, I don't know if he had his career stats, but I know that he was a huge deal in 2010 with the Reds.
He had a 1024 OPS that year.
Yeah, there you go.
37 homers and a $113 to win the MVP. The only thing Joey Votto doesn't have is a whole lot of postseason.
He played for the
Reds. So, he was in there only 3 times, and he didn't. He had no home runs, 1 RBI. I think Joey Votto's going to make the Hall of Fame, but he's going to have to first try to make the White Sox.
You know who Joey Votto can blame for his short stint in the playoffs? Matt Latos.
Okay.
Because Matt Latos gave up the grand slam to Buster Posey in Game 5.
2010 or 12?
Maybe 12.
It was 12.
12.
Yeah, they led the Giants 2-0 that year.
Did.
And the next 3 games were in Cincinnati.
And the Giants won all of them. Buster Posey hits a grand slam in Game 5 off of Matt Latos, and they never look back.
Giants. All right, let's go to Padres information with the outstanding beat writer of the Padres for MLB.com. If you're always wondering how many years he's been on the beat, you're going to find that out, along with a whole bunch of other stuff after traffic. AJ Cassavell.
From the 855
Number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
AJ Cassavell. Hi, AJ. I was just wondering, bringing you on here, what year this is for you on the Padre beat for MLB.com.
This is my 10th season.
Wow.
Get out.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
10th season.
That's awesome.
I mean, I was going to, if you would have said 4 or 5, I would have been, hey, that's impressive. I did not know 10.
I knew it was at least 6 or 7, but not 10. 10's impressive.
10's good. Good job.
Congrats,
Yeah, it took me a second to kind of figure that out because I started in 2016. But if you count the total number of seasons, this will actually be my 10th season.
That is, that's
fantastic.
That's good work, AJ
Yes,
Cassavell.
that is.
Well done, sir.
And he stuck through the beginning part to get to this part where it's actually,
is it
a
much,
competitive team.
Yeah, that's a good question in a lot of ways. Is it a lot more fun with a winning organization, like for you personally, or just anybody in your position?
There's certainly more things to write about, and more people are reading me. So yes, that makes it significantly more fun. I mean, it's also, it's like it got old. There were storylines and there were interesting things going on with the 2017 Padres, but at some point in the middle of August, how many times can you write about Jabari Blash, or Ryan Schimpf or whoever? So it's nice to have pretty much too many storylines. It feels like I miss things. I come to spring training and I have a list of things and I don't hit on every single one of them because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I remember years and years ago, the biggest news story of the season was Will Myers getting caught on Twitch talking about Andy Green. So things have definitely changed over the years, AJ.
Yes, AJ Cassavell.
And that was a different time.
It was.
Yeah, you started in the Andy Green era, and through Jace Tingler and Bob, and now Mike Schilt. All right, AJ, we were just talking Jason Heyward because he's there in camp now, and I don't mean to be blunt. But I'm not the world's big personally. It's me. He's got to show me. A little concerned about the last 4 or 5 years. He has not been the Jason Heyward he once was. What do you think makes the Padres believe they can get him to return more to the form that we had originally come to expect from Jason Heyward?
I think it's completely fair to be skeptical, but I also think it was fair to be skeptical last year of Jurickson Profar. AJ Preller said yesterday that this team is going to need some surprises from some of these guys that are either non-roster guys or, one of the things that was appealing to the Padres is that essentially Jason Heyward came on a relatively cheap prove-it deal. And so you pair him with Connor Joe, you can get him the at-bats that I think would bode well in a platoon. You give him at-bats pretty much exclusively against right-handed pitching. And he's still a pretty good defender, and maybe you find something there. But there are other options too. I don't think the Padres are entering the season saying no matter what, Jason Heyward's going to be our left fielder. He's just essentially the starting left fielder heading into the season. And he did some decent things down the stretch last season with Houston. So if he can kind of rekindle that, he's a veteran and clearly knows how to go about it. If he's that guy and you kind of platoon him with Connor Joe and maybe one or two of these other NRI guys step up or AJ Preller adds another bat, I think that's kind of where their mindset is.
We're talking to AJ Cassavell, MLB.com, and I like that. NRI guys. It took me a second, but that's smart. I'm going to start saying NRI guys. Non-roster invitee guys
Thank you, Skraby.
is
I
what
had
it
no
was.
idea what he was talking about, so I appreciate you.
Chris, you got to pay attention to the lingo like I do over here.
Doing my best.
Now, the other night, Nick Pivetta was signed by the Padres. It was broken live here on the Skraby Show on 97.3 The Fan, and I immediately was stunned that they signed anyone for any sort of money, just because we didn't expect that to happen. How shocked were you when you saw that Nick Pivetta was signed to a 4-year, $55 million deal?
Yeah, pretty surprised, and surprised when you see those numbers. I think less surprised when you see the structure of the contract because it is somewhat in line with what the Padres have been doing for the rest of the offseason in terms of giving contracts out to guys like Michael King and the deal he got, which was kind of low money this year with a buyout for a mutual option and a signing bonus. This Nick Pivetta deal is similar in that he's going to be owed a decent chunk of change in the next 3 years, but less so this year. And the Padres got a pitcher that has some pretty good upside. He pitched in a definitive hitter's park last season, and he put up some pretty good strikeout, walk, fielding independent numbers. And if you kind of take out the ballpark factor and there's clearly something to be harnessed there. I don't want to, the comparison's not too straightforward with Joe Musgrove, but when Joe Musgrove came from Pittsburgh, it was like, this guy's probably better than what his numbers look like in Pittsburgh. And then sure enough, he came here and he was a lot better than what his numbers were with the Pirates. Pavetta's obviously further along in his career, and like probably was the best remaining free agent starter on the market. So yeah, it did come as some surprise, but it didn't come as a surprise that the Padres would, if they were going to go out and spend somewhere, would target starting pitching, because I think that was the clear biggest area of need.
Yeah, AJ, I think you hit it right. I mean, analytically, people love Nick Pivetta. And, a lot of times that does tend to matter, when you get into a different environment, and especially a pitcher's ballpark. So I think a lot of people are excited by that. It still seems, though, that they need to do at least one more, maybe two more moves. And I'm not trying to be greedy, but we don't really have an established starter at DH as of right now. The fifth spot in the rotation, hopefully Waldron grabs it, but that's kind of up for grabs. And maybe, as you said, you might even add to the Heyward, Connor Joe. If you were going to do it, the name that keeps throwing around lately is Suarez. Does that make any sense to you personally, and do you think it makes any sense at all to the Padres and, their people?
I think the reason it makes the most sense in terms of some sort of trade would be, like, you look at the positions of strength on the roster, the positions that the Padres can afford to lose. Robert Suarez is really good. He was an excellent closer last year. He's been excellent in relief in the past. If you look at the guys that have been mentioned as potential trade candidates and what the Padres would be losing if they lost that guy and whether they could replace it, there's probably no bigger area of strength in terms of depth and high-end talent than the bullpen. And so you can look at this bullpen and say, well, right now there's 7 definitive guys who are in that bullpen, and then there's guys like Alec Jacobs, Sean Reynolds, Ron Marinaccio, who are competing for like the last spot, and you've got guys like back-end guys like Jason Adam, Jeremiah Estrada, Adrian Morejon. Like if you were to lose a guy who has been rumored in trades, and we know who's been mentioned, Dylan Cease, Michael King, Luis Ariz, like those kind of names, the guy you could afford to lose and still be okay roster-wise is probably Robert Suarez. Now, you're still losing a lot because he's still a really good pitcher. He still projects to be one of the better closers in the National League. But I think that's why, if you're looking for like why that name is being mentioned the most now, like the Padres were to lose one of their front-end starting pitchers right now, even after adding Nick Pivetta, the rotation has all of the same question marks and then some that it had a few days ago. And so I think that's just the calculus of it. Like their bullpen should be pretty good, whether it has Suarez or not, but obviously significantly better if it does happen.
Talking to AJ Cassavell of MLB.com, he's out there covering the Padres in Peoria, and I've been catching these tweets from our guy Sammy Lev. He has been up to date on what Ethan Salas has been doing, and today he tweeted, "Who's catching Matt Waldron and his knuckleball in the bullpen today? Ethan Salas." So I don't think that he's going to debut this year, but is there a chance? Why would he be working with Matt Waldron then?
Everyone works with everyone in spring training. I think there's probably if Matt Waldron's going to be part of this team in a couple, for the long haul, like you develop that rapport and with your eventual catcher of the future. I think it's more just spring training. You give those kind of opportunities to young catchers. Now, I will say the Padres have been not hesitant at all to throw Ethan Salas behind the plate for some of their better, bigger name starting pitchers. They had him catch Yu Darvish during his rehab assignment last year. And so I wouldn't read too much into it other than like the Padres are really high on Ethan Salas. And what we know that means from what the Padres have done in the past is that if he proves himself and if he earns it, the Padres will be willing to promote him pretty quickly. Now, he's farther away. I would maybe equate this. A lot of people have talked about how quickly the Padres move guys like Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis, even C.J. Abrams. Like I would equate this spring training maybe with like one spring early, one spring ahead of that. But they're going to give him opportunity this spring to at least like see how he fares against big league competition, then probably go down and see how he does in the minors. And like I would just on the surface assume that 2026 is when the Padres would like to see his arrival. If he forces their hand, I think they'll be more than happy to have that problem.
Yes, indeed. AJ Cassavell, appreciate the time as always. I want to give one last question to you, and I don't think we totally know the answer to this yet, Guys like Manny, Fernando, they're not to camp yet. Jackson Merrill, Xander, Jake. I mean, these are established, really good Major League players. Yu Darvish and the rest of these guys. Do you have any sneaky suspicion, AJ, that they follow what happened in the offseason, and they saw the Dodgers sign everybody, and they also saw everybody say that, well, that's it for the Padres. They have no chance of keeping up with LA now. Is that something they may use in their favor, the Padres, knowing these guys the way you do?
Yes, absolutely. I think we got that sense at FanFest. That was my biggest takeaway from talking with all these guys, for many of them for the first time all offseason, after what the offseason was that the kind of external panic mode, online whatever, is obviously different from what's happening in the real world in the minds of these guys, is that they think they're still a pretty good team, and they think the core is still really good and still has a chance to contend. And I don't think anyone is oblivious to the challenge that awaits them in Los Angeles and how good that team is. But they are maybe more confident that this is that they have a score to settle and that they have a talented team that could potentially do so than I think what the rest of the baseball world has looked at. Because I think a lot of people look at the NL West as a settled fact right now, and look, the Dodgers are clearly the favorites and should be. But when you talk to these guys, and like you said, a lot of them are in camp, but they're kind of just around. They haven't been going through regular workouts yet.
Yeah.
But when we talk to them at FanFest, they're pretty confident in the group that they're bringing back.
Well, we appreciate having a veteran beat writer on the program with us.
Absolutely.
Like 10 years.
Yep.
You're not old enough to be 10 years, AJ.
He's got his service
that
time.
makes me feel old.
In Major League Baseball, too. I mean, isn't 10 years the big year for baseball players?
For baseball writers?
Yeah, it is. I don't think my service time will be 10 years, though, for a little bit. I have to complete the season and then go into next spring training.
Gotcha.
So that'll be 10 years.
Still, long time.
We appreciate it,
yes.
AJ, always, and we'll see you down there in a few weeks. But thanks for taking time with us. We always appreciate it, and keep up the great work. Thank you, AJ. It'd be really great work is that when I went into a whole thing about Joey Votto signing with the White Sox, I was actually correct. It wasn't Joey Votto. It was Joey Gallo.
Remember the Joey Gallo days when we had someone...
We wanted him here desperately, didn't we?
I did not.
I thought some of the fans wanted Joey Gallo.
Some of the fans did, it wasn't a good...
Joey Gallo's got a bigger swing and miss rate than Nick Pivetta does, so it's no good.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chris.
Yeah. No, Joey Gallo was the guy who signed a minor league contract with the White Sox, not the future Hall of Famer Joey Votto. I will admit, I get them confused. I think you could see Joey
Votto's a much better baseball player than Joey Gallo is.
Oh, no question. I'm just saying the names.
Oh, Joey! What's up?
So we straightened that out. Skraby has the Chronicles coming up, so your entertainment for the evening is far from over.
I don't know what I'm going to do. Chris took all my gripes for the day.
I did take a few gripes today. Enjoy the weekend. 3 days coming up, and then we're back on Tuesday. Tony will return, so we'll talk to you all then. Have a good one.